Și welcome back! Sorry pentru delay, aparent streamul lor își luase pauză. Suntem în finale. Welcome in everyone. Mulțumim, hai de acel quick ban. Mulțumim și de la Ubisoft pentru oportunitate, pentru tot. Cum ziceam, if I do really need someone to help me improve my stream, I have many friends, I don't need a boosting service. Welcome in ziua 1 din finalele SI 2024. Suntem co-streaming pe Twitch pe Codrin GG underline HS.
This is the pinnacle that everybody works for from the start of the year. This is what you want to be at, and there are so many teams that will be disappointed they're not here.
So, like, going up on the stage and just feeling the crowd around you and just being up here, the amount of like feelings you have inside of you, there's no description for it. They just don't end.
It's crazy that you're saying feelings, not something that I would usually put together.
Ce faci, Mihai? Cum ești? Toate bune? Mi amigo. Mi amigo.
Let's talk about these top 6 squads that made it into our main stage. We got 2 teams from all 3 main regions here, NA, Brazil, and EU. We'll start off first, Sonics from NA and Dark Zero, and Sonics, fresh and unpredictable squad, my dark horse for this entire tournament, where us Dark Zero have been consistent throughout the whole year, actually throughout the past 2 years, and they've earned a spot.
Absolutely, and then we're moving through to FaZe Clan and W7M now. The two obviously teams that are going to be supported massively.
Ați văzut curta? Ai avut liber.
FaZe Clan, they've won a major, but they did it in Sweden, not in front of a crowd they desperately want to get the hammer. And then we go to W7M.
Cu aia nouă, gândesc că cu ultima de ți-a luat a fost în service.
This year for them is going to be the one that they're targeting.
Moving over to the last ones, Europeans, my favorites. I think there are so
Ce ți-ai schimbat ulei, distribuția, ce ai schimbat la ea?
As a team, the way they play, if you love discipline and logical decisions, Virtus Pro, that's the team for you to look out for, and they've just been incredible so far, managing to come back and play at the top level once more. G2, I mean, it's the best team in the world. I love them. They are just so good. They're the bad boy villains here. They have Judas Alemão, their in-game leader, their team captain, Brazilian moving to EU to destroy the hopes of Brazilians.
Am așa de mult. Nu, dacă te gândești că faci asta odată la nu știu câte luni sau odată la nu știu câte mii de kilometri, e ok.
Now, our top 6 have been at previous events, and we're going to focus solely on their 6 invitational appearances. G2 at 5 of them. That is quite a bit, but there has to be way more to it than just attending.
Yeah, I mean, the victories that they have. Here on the graphic, we see 2019, which I played and won, and then 23, which was last year. I coached and won, and just this amazing team. 4 of the players are still there. They have an addition of Uno, who has been doing an amazing job since he got an addition.
Mamă!
And I'm so excited to see them play.
Dată la 60 de kilometri. Oh, 60.000 de kilometri.
Third is the maximum that they've got to. That's absolutely monumental for this roster. They're going to be looking to make that push on because they've come so close.
No.
They're now back on home soil. They're going to want to make it. The hammer is theirs.
Nu văzusem că au citisem pe repede înainte și am gândit că
how are they not the local favorites right now? They've just won the 2 last majors. They're going to plow through this bracket, I think, and I think that we're going to see a W7M in the final.
I agree. I agree. I mean, there's dark horses. Obviously, you know the 2 North American teams, Virtus Pro. There are dark horses there, don't get me wrong. But I think they're
ții și tu chinizerie de aia, știi, că ar trebui schimbată odată la 2-3 mii de kilometri, ai fost om.
If I had to pick a dark horse out of all of them, though, I think I would pick Sonics. I know you said it as well. The way they've been playing Siege, they've looked so comfortable. They've a couple of things to work on, but they look great. They look like a much more balanced roster now.
The next piece is how do you handle pressure when you have fans all around you? Because a lot of those SIs, at least over the past
Avem
few
dropuri,
years,
e întrebarea foarte
with
bună.
crowd, and not everybody's made it to the main stage, Fabian. How do you calculate for that?
So the way that I worked when I was playing and when I was coaching is you focus on the screen in front of you. You feel the vibrations everywhere. Like the amount of people we have here, it's more than we have at
Nu se active dropurile, what?
So the vibrations that you feel underneath
Say
when the goal comes a kill or
what?
when you win a
Ok,
round,
stai
if
să
the team
știm.
is cheering for you, everything is just exploding around you.
I mean, you were there also. You've attended so many of these events as a fan and as a talent and also as support around teams.
Yeah, I think it's just the ability to zone everything else out. Like you say, it's like there are going to be fans that are probably against you if you're not a Brazilian team. Even if the fans are with you, that obviously
Ok, deci o să avem drop-uri în vreo 50 de minute după ce se termină conferința de început. Bă, Mihai, ce gaming producem noi mai târziu?
If you made it this far, you're never an onliner because you have proven throughout the group stage, throughout the playoffs, that you should be here. And honestly, all these 6 teams that we have here, they truly deserve to be here because they have played phenomenally. Like, they are one step above everybody else that's not here, and I think it shows quite clearly if you look back through the entire event.
Yeah, they're all very different. They're all different in their own way. They've got their own unique styles. However, objectively and subjectively, these are the best 6 teams in the tournament. We couldn't have asked for anybody else that's here today.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we only get to have 6, but at the end of the day, we're going to go down to 1 winning the whole thing. So with only a few moments left, I think it's time to celebrate my favorite thing about the Invitational, which is you, the community. So how about we go to the stage with Ian and Leo and celebrate you. Bom dia, Sao Paulo! You have waited 5 long years for Siege to come back to Brazil. Since we were last here, history, legacies, and champions have been made. Now, the Ginásio do Ibirapuera is the home to the Hammer as we get set to write the next chapter in R6 Esports history. My name's Ian Chambers. I am joined here by the amazing, the handsome, the wonderful Brazilian stage host, Leo. Leo, this is incredible.
Thank you very much. That's awesome being with you here, man.
Păi, mă nu știu, Mihai, oricum îs live până la 7 și ceva. Și ulterior, dacă nu zici nimic, o să mă bag la Siege cu ăștia, la rank.
Então vamos fazer festa, fazer barulho, mostrar o que somos capazes. Lá fora, tá todo mundo de olho na gente. Eu já tô ensinando o Ian Chambers, que é o meu co-host aqui, a falar português. E ele quer ouvir o quanto de barulho a gente consegue fazer.
Can I do it right now?
Vamos fazer barulho? Let's go.
Vamos fazer barulho!
How does it feel?
It feels good. I'm gonna do that a lot.
Okay.
All right, one of the best things about SI is we shine a spotlight and highlight the incredible people that make this game and the entire scene so special and amazing. Isn't that right?
Exactly. O que torna esse esporte tão incrível é a possibilidade de homenagear pessoas que criam e são apaixonadas, a comunidade. Então,
Se apasionat, comunitate, nu știu ce pula mea zice asta. Bănuiesc că traduce pentru braziliană, portugheză, ce vorbesc în Brazilia, dar e o limbă urâtă, adică comparativ cu germana sau cu alte limbi, it's actually nice.
When I grew up from it, I stopped going there. The cyber cafe closed, and I learned to play it on console. And the esports
Asta e
was on console mostly.
coachul de la Wolves.
And quickly, I found a bigger dimension of those competitions that I didn't realize was so accessible, and that's how I fell in love with that world. When Siege was announced, all those people were just waiting for it since years. They were so excited. The amount of possibilities, the depth of the strategy on this game, I fell in love right away. And then quickly I got closer with the players from Vitality at that time. So I was basically the substitute in Vitality for my first year. Beginning of 2017, I officially signed with Vitality. I became main player. That's when it got a bit more complicated. So a lot of people being like, oh, she's on the Vitality just because she's a woman. You do an official game, you're like, okay, I'm pretty happy about what I showed during this game. You go watch the VOD on Twitch and you see the chat, and the chat is like roasting you like crazy. And it's like not just, oh, they played poorly, it's personal stuff. And then you're like, okay, it's a lot. It starts to be a lot. And at that time, we didn't have any coaching staff or managers or anything, so you're by yourself.
If I want to solo queue, I can't even do that because of the toxicity of others.
If I ever play like solo or anything like that, I make it a point to not use voice comms and only use text chat.
Dès qu'il y a une erreur qui est faite, la faute retombe immédiatement sur nous parce qu'on est des femmes en fait.
Feeling like all the men are watching you and like you're responsible for upholding all the women in the game. It's a lot of pressure in just one little game.
There needs to be a signal sent that it doesn't matter what gender you identify as. There is space for you here.
The more that we have women in these roles and show
Bă, la afirmația asta
women are going to be involved in the esports community.
We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and can have fun in a game like Siege.
e un pic
And we're not
debatable,
there yet. And we have a
pentru
long
că
way to go, but it will get better.
At that point, I wanted to just take a break. I even had told people, I was like, I'm still here.
oamenii sunt foarte toxici în jocurile video, mai ales gen aia care fac troll. Păi nu interesează ce gen dorești. Aia zic pe față și gen aici nu vorbim de trash talk-ul pe care îl generăm sau îl facem că cineva chiar e purely bad. Cumva vorbim de oamenii care sunt doar trolls și adică e debatable când zici că toată lumea este acceptată pentru că sunt oameni care nu acceptă pe nimeni, nu se acceptă pe ei. Gen, they don't give a shit.
And during the event, I was looking around and I was realizing, like, okay, yeah, they
Dar
really
oricum
can
super
have
mișto
an
tipa
impact
că
on
le face
the
coach
results of your team.
la
And I
Wolves.
started to have ideas, you know, and I wanted to work on these ideas. And I'm thinking, I feel like strategically speaking, I'm more advanced than I am mechanically speaking. So I'm like, I don't even have to think about it. It's just the decision is taken for me, you know, like I need to become a staff. And the main switch was, I want to coach.
Chiar mă bucur că ne prezintă story-ul ei.
In her team standings and her team's performance throughout the years, and also been such a focal point for Wolves management. There's not many coaches who can achieve that, and it's just phenomenal.
I'm trying my best to monitor everybody, to give them space to express themselves, but also to guide them into how they should express themselves. Communication is key, either it's in-game, on the server, or outside of the server. It's so important. It's like dialogue is the main key if you want to be able to work together. You need that complementary in your team. You need to have people that can match together and can complete each other.
She has always struck me as a fearsome competitor and a fearless leader who doesn't back down, whether it's the way that she talks to her teammates, whether it's the way that she talks to, you know, her players, whether her support staff, whether it's the way that she talks to us behind the scenes. She always speaks from the heart, and she speaks so strongly, and that's a very admirable quality.
Elle est très stratégique et elle a une vision, je pense, autre et elle perçoit très bien les choses.
She's amazing at the work that she does. It just shows that more and more we can have women leading the charge in a lot of important areas. To me, that's the ultimate future that we have on Siege.
I don't think that I'm the best coach I can be right now, but I'm working every single day to become the best coach that can exist, yes.
Please welcome onto our stage the recipient of our Esports Commendation Award, Wolves Esports coach, Liloon.
Uma salva de palmas para ela, rapaziada. Congratulations. That's all award.
I can already see the tears in your eyes, Liloon. Like, we just watched that video package of your incredible journey Talk us through what this recognition means to you at a Six Invitational in front of the fans that, you know, has been such a part of your journey throughout your entire esports career.
I don't even have the words. It means so much. It means much more than you can ever imagine. It's just so much commitment and so many years of, you know, sacrificing yourself for that, and also just it's an incredible gift, and of course, what a better place than Sao Paulo to receive it.
Ela está muito feliz, diz que não tem nem palavras, ela se dedicou muito. E é isso, chegou aqui, vê esse resultado e não tinha lugar melhor para estar aqui conosco em São Paulo, no Brasil, recebendo esse prêmio. It's amazing.
Lilun, you are notoriously competitive, passionate, fierce. You've got a desire to win at all times. Where does that come from?
I've always been like that. As a kid, I've always been wanting a challenge, challenging myself in every discipline I've been trying. So I don't know, I just want to be the best and I want to win everything.
É isso, é espírito de lutadora. Para estar aqui, ela sempre teve vontade de ser a melhor, de competir, de vencer, e é por isso que ela está aqui. Congratulations, such an amazing story.
You have become such a leading figure for women in competitive esports, and that's not a responsibility you take lightly, is it?
Yeah, it's a big responsibility, but it's also an honor. And if I can inspire many more women, but also men, to give their best and live their passion and live their dream, then I'll continue as much as I can.
All right, finally, the floor is yours. Who would you like to thank in this incredible moment in your life?
I would like to thank my family, of course. They've been supporting me throughout all of this. My incredible partner, Nation, that has been my rock always. And my friends, even recently, Benoit, Vincent, Felix have been incredible throughout all of this. And of course, Ubisoft for creating such an amazing game. And thank you, Brazil, as well, Obrigada. And I hope everybody's going to enjoy the ESI. It's going to be crazy.
Awesome, ela está agradecendo, agradeceu a família, os amigos, todo mundo que ajudou nessa caminhada, e ela sabe que é uma responsabilidade, uma honra muito grande ser uma mulher e estar nesse espaço de destaque.
Sao Paulo, one more time for Lilun!
Uma salva de palmas para Lilun!
Thank you very much, Lilun. Congratulations. We cannot wait to see what you achieve next. We are going to a short break, but then when we come back, we are officially kicking off proceedings. It wouldn't be SI without an orchestra, would it?
Se aude pe fundal efectiv acel vâjit și nu de la mine. L-a pornit ventilatorul. Da, bă, mie dacă mă știi aici, bă, joculețul ăsta, că gen animația asta este un joculeț de l-a făcut Ubisoft, care e accesibil prin Netflix Gaming. Băi, e mișto! This is actually a really interesting game that they actually made. And it's very nice. It's simple, it's not... I mean, you have some really interesting aspects, but it's nice. Ne-activat drop-urile sau încă nu? Da, sunt curios. Sunt extrem de curios. Nu l-avem încă, doar pe mentionul de la SI. Chat, dacă dropurile nu sunt active până începe următorul match, let me know, oricum o să verific.
Our mission is clear. Locate and apprehend his killer. This Deimos is no ordinary
Și
enemy.
o să dăm mesaje.
When we had him in our sights on his money plane, he found a way to best us. Exploiting our humanity as weakness to get away. He's ruthless, willing to kill his own in pursuit of new weaponry. Rainbow is not like that. When one joins us, they gain a squad who will defend them to the death. He attacked us brazenly at Tower, the youngest among us, our recruits. Now, we come for him. Enough defense. We are on the attack. Evidence at Tower led us to his base of operation in Portugal. We eliminated the Karis Legion, protecting it. And through it all, we never lose our humanity, because what is weakness to him is our greatest strength. The intel from Leia proves he is planning an operation at Emerald Plains. When we get there, we stop Deimos before any more lives are lost. Clear. Start setting up.
What's the meaning of this?
Monsieur Secrétaire Général, we are with Rainbow. This location is compromised. Let's get you to the evac zone.
And my security detail?
It's too late for them now. Look sharp. Deimos is here. Mira, finish up and fall back. We lure him in and take him alive.
Bă, ăsta e trailer nou, pentru că nu l-am văzut. Deimos cu 44-ul. Rock, Mira și Doc. Încă trei operatori pe care Deimos i-a omorât. Și legendarul Sam Fisher în fight-ul cu Deimos.
Samuel Fisher. Say hi to Hereford.
Ain't no boy.
What are you waiting for? Pull the goddamn trigger, soldiers.
Not gonna happen. It's over, Deimos. And you will tell us everything.
Nothing I say will save Rainbow. You're already dead.
We'll see about that.
Dă-te în pula mea, am avut așa un pic piele de găină aici la faza asta.
Basement.
I've got him. You go make that stop.
Same C4 remote used in Bratislava. The building with the nursery.
Morris, what are you doing? Put it down.
So he can be a chess piece for two countries playing nice. All that blood on his hands. But in 2 months, he'll be on the beach drinking mojitos. You know how it goes, Bogart.
Our orders are extraction. God damn it, Gerald! You finally did it. Throw your career away.
Rainbow doesn't matter. This, you and I, doesn't matter.
Face reveal at Deimos. Is this the real guy? Gerald Morris.
Isn't anyone gonna welcome me back?
I had no idea that I needed to see Sam Fisher versus Deimos to kick off my day, but here we are, hyping it all up before we start. Fabian, you're here, you've been here 1,001 times, how's it feel?
Waiting for
Holy.
what's about to happen, the feelings and the emotions and just the adrenaline kick that you're gonna have when you stand backstage there, just waiting for everything to kick off. There's no, it's not the same. Like when you're on stage, you feel one thing. Back there, this is when it all starts. This is where the feelings come out.
I think this is going to be the best crowd and the best atmosphere we've ever had for a Siege event.
And you know what? At this point, it's time for us to welcome our 6th finalist. And to be honest, nothing gives me goosebumps more than the 6th Invitational theme. I think that is pretty clear, especially when it's played by our very own orchestra. You know it's coming. I see you shivering with anticipation.
Chat, am pielea de ghină. Holy shit! Fucking goosebumps, chat. No. Imagine să fie acolo. Energia de acolo, să... Feel the vibe. It's something else, chat. Dar, cum ziceam, one day, maybe one day, me and the boys will be on that stage. Cel puțin în public. Acolo. La un SI. Mă aduc aminte de finala. For me, this is something else. Și nu e primul SI la care particip așa. Cred că e primul la care am pielea de găină și cumva realizez că anul ăsta o să fie interesant. Că anul ăsta o să lucrăm mai mult și o să vrem să ajungem și noi acolo. Asta ne-am propus.
Welcome back, everybody. What an introduction! Everybody's here at Invitational in Sao Paulo, and this crowd is like nothing you've ever experienced before. And I hope that if you're not here with us,
Au fost sold out biletele pentru finală, pentru ambele finale, în ziua 1 de când s-au afișat.
Gentlemen, we've already done the hellos and the thank yous and all, but this matchup has a lot riding.
We already played G2 in our group. We weren't so happy about how we played there. Honestly, just excited to kind of get a rematch with them. They're a good team and also defending champions, so potentially being the team to be able to take them out, that's an opportunity we want to take.
We played them already in our group and we won 2-0. I think it's going to be a repeat of last time. I don't think it's going to be too difficult of a game.
To beat G2, I think we just kind of have to stick to our strengths and stick to our game plan. I think the last time we played them, we kind of strayed away from that and fell into their game, and it kind of came back and bit us.
A good strategy to beat Dark Zero, I don't think is anything so special. Maybe just do nothing, and then you'll win. They're really slow.
Carl, be seeing you when it matters most.
Hello, Naif. I know for a fact that you don't want to play G2, especially not in your first game in the main stage. You have your friends, your family watching, and they're going to be very sad. I'm very sorry.
We are all ready to go. G2 versus Dark Zero. So let's feed you in on all the intel you need. First of all, Crush, Fabian, we've done the introductions, we've said hello. Now it's time to get down to business.
Oh, it's time, definitely. These two teams, they have so much history against each other. Like, it's honestly incredible. And just both of these teams have been performing so well up until this point.
So there was a big question about, I think, who the crowd were actually going to support.
Yeah.
When these two teams were setting up their setups before all of this kicked off, the crowd was booing DZ. They were cheering G2, obviously the champions, Alamau Connection. It goes without saying, these are two of the top teams in the world right now, and they've both got a very good shot. Obviously, G2 are the defending champions.
If there is no crowd like this one, let's be very honest, Invitational is always a massive, massive celebration of the community, and with everybody kind of reeling in that energy. You have to focus. We talked about it in our pre-show. As a player, you gotta have faith in your colleagues in the server and your coach.
Not only faith, but you need to love each other and cherish what you have between each other, because this is a bond of brothers up there. Like, they are fighting, they're going to war for each other, because there's nothing more that matters than the hammer up on that stage. That is what everybody wants.
O să fie o finală insane, adică astea sunt semifinale, sau mă rog, quarterfinals și mâine o să avem finala mare.
Yeah, this is the last year how much they've been playing against each other, and actually G2 have come out on top every single time. Last time at last SI, they were beaten in the lower bracket. G2 took that 2-0 against Dark Zero, and I think it was second round lower bracket, and yeah, that was quite the dominant game from them. Then we also have that they played in Atlanta against each other, so they have another game. G2 won once more, and then we head over to this SI in the group stage, a year ago almost again, but a week. But then again, G2 obviously took it one more time. So there's so much history between these two rosters, and it's not only a rivalry between the two teams, there's a rivalry on a different level as well.
And those rivalries on the different level, that is Alamau and Canadian. And we've talked about how Alamau is a key component for G2, and about when he's comfortable and against somebody he feels that he's so much better than, he wins. And that's exactly what he's done with Canadian. He loves to play the mental game with him. He absolutely loves playing against him, as you can see by those results.
But we talked about these teams being the top in the world. Of course, they're here at the Invitational on the main stage. Nobody can ever take that away from them. That's 100% for sure. But we need to talk about what sets teams apart. First of all, we'll take Dark Zero and go deep into this squad, because they've had two changes going into this Invitational, and it seems like things have worked out.
Things have really worked out for them. If we just look at the statistics here, and we see that they actually have a positive attacker win rate, which is super uncommon for any team in this meta. They have been just playing so well.
Emil, Bilon a mai jucat de 188 de zile în Pro League și asta este întoarcerea lui în Pro League. Totodată nu mai așteptam să ajung atât de departe, chiar dacă pentru mine Dark Zero este top teams. Nu mă așteptam să văd atât de departe în SI 2024, chiar mă așteptam ca G2 să rupă tot. O surpriză și din partea celor de la FaceClan. Insane acest sezon competițional sau această primă competiție din 2024.
Obviously, they dropped Scriveni, they dropped Rice. These two players have drastically changed how DZ play. Now, they've also got a bit of a bromance going on, which obviously helps. We're seeing that happen with some of the new players across the teams. But Nafe has brought in that European style to Dark Zero. He's brought in a way of thinking, and he's allowed them to explore new possibilities on maps they previously were not good at. Now, Bolo has had a bit of an up and a down event, and recently, though, in terms of the Virtus Pro game, he really stepped up. So he'd been out of professional play a while, but he come back in, shrugged off that rust, and then started stepping up throughout the tournament. Both of these two players, huge reasons for the improvement.
Yeah, for both, it takes some time to get back into it when you've been off the competitive for so long. But not only have Nafe unlocked them in terms of EU style, Nafe also has experience with Brazilian coaching, which means that he brings a third element to the table. Nafe brings so much, and I think he's kind of a master key that have unlocked so many different play styles for Dark Zero. He's an absolute star.
And Canadian on the spot. 2-time, he's looking for a third.
Yeah, he's coming for my 3-time, right? I don't hope it happens, but you never know. The thing that Canadian does, he might not pull the numbers so well. He will always be a little bit negative in the numbers, but that's not what you have Canadian in your team for. The stuff that he brings, team culture, discipline, work,
Holy shit, the crowd is insane la major ăsta și doar prima zi nivel, nici măcar nu e finala mare, quarter final, gen, suntem în lower bracket.
We mentioned it here that they are massive crowd favorites because of this one person in the middle, Alamau.
Yeah, G2, I suppose kind of darlings, maybe not. We'll see if they play against a Brazilian.
Și noi suntem aici, în momentul ăsta, în lower bracket quarter final, nu suntem nici măcar în semifinale, nici măcar în finale. Noi suntem în lower bracket pentru că Dark Zero a pierdut versus Virtus Pro. Ultimul meci a pierdut cu 7-8, adică era care câștigă primul continuă mai departe. În upper bracket final și aveam face cu Virtus. Și ne-am mutat în lower bracket, în quarterfinals. Și avem Dark Zero cu G2, G2 care nu a pierdut niciun match. Până ciudat de Face Clan, adică în playoffs, dar în grupe au fost 4-0 bătut tot. Holy shit! Da, the crowd is insane, deci...
How much of a role does Ramalho, their coach, play into this?
Oh, he's huge. Obviously, he is a Brazilian coach alongside Alamau, and I think he understands the Brazilian teams really well. We saw actually when they beat Liquid, he literally screamed to Alamau, just those two. He said, "We finally did it." So it's not just us saying they've got to go; they're saying that as well. And if they're over that line, that makes them dangerous.
So what is that weakness, that secret weapon that G2 can exploit?
So G2 are very good at, I think, looking at what the weakest link in the opponent team is, and then trying to exploit that. So for me, if I'm G2, I would be looking at how we could exploit Canadian. Now, the big reason for that, it's not that actually his stats are not good. It's the operators he plays. Particularly pay attention to the solid.
I mean, Canadian au avut niște meciuri destul de proaste pentru cei de la Dark Zero. Au fost destul de exploatat. Deși se juca solid și a luat bait și a fost duronat. De 3 ori s-a întâmplat să fie duronat ca fără el să realizeze chestia să se pierdă.
Implement Split Fury, and that's what Split Fury is good at, is taking 5v4s and making them work. So that's where I think G2 will look to press onto that weakness.
And you're absolutely right, because the way that we worked back in a year ago, and they definitely have that still, because Carl is still their leader and captain, they chase the weakest mechanical player. And the reason why they do it is, as you said, they can abuse the gap that he creates by either going for him or abusing the gap where he isn't, where he's supposed to be when he plays for his team. So G2 definitely knows how to play against this playstyle, and knowing how the analyst works for G2 Titan back home, he's going to have studied every single movement that Troy is going to make.
And now with all of that studying, you have to put it together in the server. So what maps will we be playing on? Both teams have great map pools, but are there going to be any surprises? Nighthaven Labs is banned first. Oregon, that's border and consulate taken away. Skyscraper is our first pick for G2. Dark Zero going for defense. That is a ballsy take. I'll see how that goes. Bank, Dark Zero's pick with G2 on the attack. And with our last 2 bans, remember it is a 9-map pool. Chalet Cafe taken out. Clubhouse will be the last in our series with G2 on the attack. General thoughts, Fred?
So for the free maps, the preferences make sense, the teams picking into preferences that they like. G2 have gone for Skyscraper. They're one of the best teams in the world at Skyscraper. When they played against NiP in groups, they used Ying to just take the map so fast. So I do wonder whether Dark Zero study that will take it away. Dark Zero have picked Bank. Now, G2 have not played Bank at this tournament. 8 preference map. They've tucked it away, tucked it away, tucked it away. We've got to main stage. They've allowed it through. They've allowed it through. They're going here. And then finally on Clubhouse, these 2 teams played on Clubhouse in the group stage of this tournament, where G2 took a very, very close victory.
I think, and I know how G2 works as a team, they've definitely hidden maps. That's just the way it is. Like, we don't need to play around that. They always have. They've come against it again. Like, if we look at the preference for their maps, these are not G2's favorite maps at all. And that's why I know they've got something up their sleeve.
So what can Dark Zero do? What's their secret weapon for this?
The thing is, because they have so little information on how G2 will play this, they kind of just have to go with their own playstyle. Take what you can and do what you know.
Cumva, cei de Dark Zero au potențial foarte mare să ajungă în finală, să și câștige finala, dar trebuie să joace mult mai mult mai gândit, să gândească mult mai mult player-urile, să-și facă stilul sau să dea evolve la stilul pe care l-au, să nu mai joace atât de slow. Pentru că, totodată, jucând slow, ai avantaj, dar ai și un dezavantaj foarte mare.
I was just yinging everything, I was just taking control, and they were giving it me for free. So actually, if G2 looked so dominant on Skyscraper against NiP, and it was because of that one factor, I can see a world where Dark Zero actually take that factor away from G2.
So who takes map 1 real quick?
I think that G2 does it because G2 loves Skyscraper, and they will win maybe 3 attacks just because of the way they play.
I'm gonna say Dark Zero. It was very close when they played VP on this map, and I don't know, I've just got a feeling that they're prepared.
All right, thank you very much, Fresh and Fabian. For all those watching at home, let's see what your predictions are. We'll take a quick break, diving right into the game.
I'm Jack Robertson, also known as Doki, and I'm the entry fragger for G2 Esports R6.
Not a single mistake can be afforded. Doki finds a triple kill.
I would say my main role is focused on getting the first engagement. Super aggressive, super in your face. I actually do play literally everything. I can kind of do it all. In G2 Esports R6, you have Alamau, who is our captain in IGL. he is a complete psychopath in every meaning and description of that word.
You're gonna crumble! That's the difference between an SI champion and a normal major champion, okay?
He's always like energetic.
Alamo looking to seek an engagement. It's over! G2 make main stage!
He plays flex, plays literally everything, so really flexible, and he's one of the best players in the game. And then we have Virtue, Jake. He is our second support, again flex, plays type of everything.
Virtue holds the perfect angle to take down Renshiro.
He is kind of like the dad, I guess, of the team. He's the oldest. Everyone looks up to him as that kind of father figure in the team. We then have Benjamaster. He is like entry fragger, but again plays everything type of role. Like he plays whatever you need him to.
Benjamaster, the Dane, holds on, falls back, repigs, finds one.
He manages to do things that aren't explainable, like you can't replicate. He is
KZ has pulled off not quite the impossible, but a bit of a work of God there. Can't get the next, and G2 will take round one.
He's adapted to the roles really well, and he helps out Alamo with IGLing and shot calling a lot. Everyone that goes to Invitational, right, of course you want to win it, right, but not one team in the world can go there and be like, oh, I'm gonna win it. And if people say that, then they're lying. Everyone can now do everything if needed. Like, all my teammates I love to bits, like they're my brothers pretty much.
3, 2, 1.
Operators, prepare to engage.
Welcome back to the 2024 Six Invitational here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Every second that goes by, another body sits in a seat. This place is filling up, it is sold out, and the atmosphere in here, Leo, is electric.
Amazing atmosphere e tá enchendo, tá ficando quente. Já já a gente vai pro nosso primeiro jogo. Os atuais campeões mundiais do
Da, sincer era mișto să fim în Brazilia acum pentru SI 2024. Era o experiență faină. Cine știe? What's gonna happen next?
Quem vocês acham que vai essa vitória?
Dark Zero!
I don't think so. Let's see.
The world champions, G2! The R6 Rockstars are back looking to reclaim their crown, but there's a certain NA team looking to turn their lights out. It's Dark Zero versus G2! I'm standing with two men who know exactly what this environment feels like. They are soaking up the energy here. Ducky and Canadian join us here on the main stage. Ducky, when you look at the recent results, SI 2023, the group stages, do you feel like you've got their number?
Yeah, I mean, it would only be fair to say that.
You feeling confident? Is there anything you want to say to Canadian? He's standing right there.
Of course I'm confident, but I respect my opponent, but of course I'm confident.
Canadian, are you worried at all about recent results, or is this where you really come into your element here?
A little louder.
Pedir para vocês gritarem pouco mais alto que ele não tá ouvindo.
The pressure's on. This is what I live for.
Ai, ele disse que ele vive por isso, por essa pressão.
Any last words?
I have no idea what he said. I can't hear.
All right, Ducky, Canadian, best of luck to both of you. Take your seats as we get set for our first matchup here.
Nós somos Brasil.
Say something?
See you after the game.
Whoa.
This is what I love about SI, Leo. It is now time to get into this one. Let's cross over to our amazing casters.
Thank you very much, Ian and Leo, and we are here in the rafters of maybe the loudest room I have ever been in.
It is an absolute party where we're at because they're so loud. There's people with drums just making music happen, people chanting. It is absolutely insane to be in here.
I mean, breathe it in, right? I think the crowd has quite an obvious favorite.
I think G2 is the favorite.
G2 might be the favorite.
Barely.
There is a bit of booing, a bit of energy, a little bit of back and forth, but I think that's the joy of what you want here. This is only half full as well.
Yes.
This is going to get louder.
That's the thing. I was looking at it, it's like, it is getting full, and when there was only 5% of the people sat here, I already couldn't hear the person next to me anymore, so it is only getting louder, as you just mentioned. It is absolutely insane.
Now, the focus on the game that we have ahead of us, well, it's a little bit historic. Not only in this event, obviously, these two teams from the same group, it was a 2-0. You know when else it was a 2-0? Last time they met at SI 2023. Hey, Hap, do you know what maps they played?
SI 2023 didn't really have that right now, but what Fabian said before as well is like every single time these two rosters have played, it was going towards G2.
It was Sky.
Oh.
It was Bang.
Oh, what are we playing now?
We're playing Sky and Bang. 7-1 was the last time these two teams met at an SI playing Skyscraper. G2 swept it. Then they came back into Bank afterwards. Maybe it was because they were demoralized. Maybe it was because they didn't expect the hidden game. All we know at this point is they're going to make a statement at, I mean, Canadians got 10,000 Brazilians he wishes to silence.
Oh, you said give some more sound. It's like it's a bit quiet out here. We need a bit more sound coming from them. But I think we'll have that as we go over for the actual game. And they live for this. All these players live for this. Just the amazing atmosphere we're in. The biggest stage we've ever seen as well.
I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. The talent team here is amazing. We get to share a green room and the joys with the Brazilian talent, the Portuguese-speaking talent. They are the best. So full of love. And you can just feel it in this room. But this is about to turn into a bit of a grudge match, a bit of a heat, I'm thinking, here at this point. Obviously, as we said, they met inside groups. It was the first and the second seed. They met on the last day. The games couldn't have been longer in regulation time, 7-5 and 7-5. So you have two teams that, sure, they're in the lower bracket. Sure, it is do or die. They are making sure every game counts right now.
No, for sure, and you know, they have to. There's no backing out now, and there's so much experience on both these teams. We said it when they met in groups, there's the most hammer holders in a single lobby compared to like what we've ever had so far. And then they go for the rematch out now.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of split of things right here is you take the context of the tournament, you take the context of a lower bracket versus an upper bracket run. G2 have lost one series so far throughout this, and here they are fighting for their life. DZ, outside of their loss to G2, they have lost one series. They're really sort of playing on that game. DZ's had a bit of a longer run, a couple of more 3-mappers rather than the clean 2-0-2-0 sweep that was enjoyed by G2. outside of their one loss. If this goes to 3 maps, it's technically experienced territory for Dark Zero, but at least they're not going to overtime as much as they usually are this tournament.
That was one of the main feelings of the Dark Zero fans, like with the new roster coming up. Oh, we aren't headed to 8-7 every single time we're playing a map anymore. So they are enjoying that as well. Of course, Dark Zero, they suffered a heartbreaking clutch from Always on Skyscraper, which is eventually what led VP to be taking
Așa,
those series.
când te naști de mâncat, ți-am și răspuns. Nuke. It is nuke time.
I mean, it's pressure, right? It's the pressure of the biggest tournament. You're up against the current hammer holders. We all saw the animation. We saw them walk it out into the room of Scream.
Tipa din stânga, mă rog, tipă, acum, a fost caster pentru SL CSGO până în 2020. În 2020 a ales schimbarea de sex, mă rog, este transgender și acum este o ea. Și este caster și pentru Siege. Păi, Fluke e bărbat, dar este și her acum. It's a transgender thing. M-am prins-o, dar DOS. O ia unde vrea.
Coming outside from Dark Zero, G2, that does free up the option of a that was talked about by our Destiny and Fresh Fabian Elosh as something that was very good on their strikes on Sky to break apart NIP's defenses.
Really wondering if G2 is going to be playing into that. Of course, we know that Warden is a very powerful operator, but it leaves all the other operators open as well. So, what's G2 going to go for at this point?
Voia peste tot, da.
They have always banned Fenrir. G2's always banned Fenrir, and we're sort of looking at a situation here of, you know, pushing themselves further and further along and getting themselves sorted.
I was wondering if we might have been seeing like something else coming through as we are headed towards the main stage now. There's a lot more on the line, but the bands stay nice and steady. Maybe if we go into further series where we'll see a bit more of a variation to come through.
I'm just going to take a moment to breathe. I'm just going to take a moment to breathe this in, to breathe the energy of the room. Obviously, I'm sure a lot is coming through at home. It's very hard to put into context usually how loud a room is because of the audio engineering that goes into our positions, because of the balancing that goes in the many, many tests. I do not have to say how loud this room is. And I mean,
Nu că e loud, este foarte loud.
There they go again. It is so just, you feel the vibrations even up in the roof where we are. Let's feel some Rainbow Six. Canadian on the role of Solace. It's been a bit of a back and forth, but the man loves a decent intel operator. And Alamau on the drive of the shield. The Blackbeard, so you're assuming with this setup, they're going to go for a bit of the take onto the top back stairs, see if they can get themselves onto the karaoke window and try and lock a plant in the corner.
Yeah, we've always seen that to be quite important. There's basically two real approaches you have from this. Either you go for your majority near Geisha and Drum, or you're trying to take the back stairs under your control.
Bă, asta o să fie un meci foarte interesant și intens din partea cel de la G2 și DZ. Pic de Blackbeard. Benja cu Blackbeard, holy moly. Cred că se joacă foarte picky, o să se joace aici.
Instantly starting to move through. There's even pings coming in on some of the G2 players out now, though, so there might be something waiting for them.
Again, to throw the context towards the last time these two teams were on this at SI 2023, DZ only managed one attack round, and it was their map pick, I believe, as well. It was flipped onto the other side. Here is that top take I talked about. The player on towards karaoke window, Canadian. He'll be reading all this. Now, at some point, the Solace can and probably will rotate with the support and structure to make sure that they have it locked in, just to try and play against it. There it is, but with the first trade down, Benja gets one, Canadian gets
Benja cu flank watch-ul, double kill din partea lui Benja.
Alamau taking control of Shrine, taking control, pushing along again. They've led in onto the black stairs, with NJR just pushing them back. That is how you take across the second story, almost like, as we said many times, securing Old Villa.
Yeah, for sure. And as they're trying to push themselves through from Dragon,
Uno pe Zofia.
two teams stacked up. Concussions being sent out to NJR, who's had an incredible tournament so far. Pushed back as the rotate comes down, and the need from the side of G to NJR might find himself in some companions soon, but aren't you aware of the fact that he's out there? Zuno uses the impact. I don't think they know about Nave and MPR both being down here.
I mean, this is going to turn into a moment. Now they know. There's the reveal. Uno with the swing round. They're being pinched. The shield's up and down, and Nafe is down. Finished off by Alamau to the roar of the crowd, and NJR's going to see if he can creep his way as Bolo hangs on for dear life inside the site, dancing either way. Bullied by a shield. The C4 gets the kill onto Alamau. Uno round at the back. The 2 versus 1. NJR. You talked about his importance as a player. He cannot make it count in round 1.
G2 starting off strong here, of course, lost the entry with Benja from the window, finding 2 instantly, a perfect response. And after that, just able to leverage themselves into the site with that Monty. It is such a threat to go through, and you know, both teams aware of the rotations downstairs, bringing the fight down there as well. But as soon as the Monty had that staircase locked off, there is no more coming back up.
It's a start, but it's also round 1. Now, obviously, I don't have to tell you the crowd is playing favorites. People are allowed to have favorites. People are allowed to cheer for who they like and boo NA teams. It's not specifically for Canadian, but it's because they're an NA team.
And it's because there's a Brazilian on the other team.
Yeah, I mean, but also it's G2. You've got 2 Brazilians. You've also got Ramallo as well behind the team. They have the momentum and the energy of this room.
Bă, de fiecare dată când l-am văzut pe Canadian pe scenă avea câte o jucărie, câte un pluș pus pe scenă lângă el.
Pretending to be the Brazilian crowd as they get themselves ready.
How well it worked, eh?
Well, sadly they weren't able to get to the stage. It's what it is.
They lead themselves here onto a second attack, and there is that Ying that was mentioned, as I said, on towards the desk, the ability to get themselves in. Now, you can sort of do the reverse take, and that's the sort of default for a lot of teams, where you go across the other side, start on Trophy, and push your way across the sort of middle ground of Shrine and the wonderful little drum. But here, instead, it sort of smells of the idea of let's find engagement, shepherd the players, then go for something a little bit drawn up, nappier. You can see Uno already on the cut-off window, the double window that screams all the way across what is a no-man's land, almost forcing these rotates now before Pamba gets shot from one of the many angles, or even underneath.
It's always the difficulty when you're playing here. There's so many angles you have to worry about as NGR goes down. Not quite killed, but as the E1D pops, it's basically locking off any rotation. Pamba goes down as well as the second player, and then it's Uno that just wasn't able to connect on the third one.
They're going for the pressure here, keeping it hot and ready. Bolo at least pulls one back with Alamau, continuing the trend. You can see the deep rotate. Once again, Bolo alone on the site. Canadian trying to get there as quick as he can, but the E1D will pause his motion. Has a C4 to try and play in this situation, but look at G2 circling all around. They've got control of the main stairs. They've got control of the site, 2-0.
Such a strong start for G2, and again, just isolating these players and being quick with the entry engagement. This is the second round now where it comes in around the 1:50 mark left on that clock, and then just people start dying left, right, and center. And the good use of the E1D there, we have to also say, because people started rotating back as NGR downed, instantly following up with another injury coming up, and G2...
Du, de nu ei. C2-2-0 deja.
Things are going south quite quickly here.
I mean, you gotta stop this before it becomes bad. It's loud, it's early, it's echoed, it's G2's map. But you can see things are sort of peeling away here from Dark Zero, just getting their heads on. Remember, this is a crowd that nobody has an experience playing in front of, really. You have played crowds. You've got a lot of crowd experience in countries that maybe support you more, or countries where it's in, or venues. You know, place bell is what, 3,000, 4,000?
Yeah, it's nowhere as near as big as this. It is the biggest stage we've ever had, the most amount of attendees. It is just getting fuller and fuller the further we go, and I mean, it is already...
Păi, nu apar dropurile pentru că, și o să vă explic acum încă o dată la toți de ce nu apar dropurile, pentru că există un Twitch issue și colegii din Blast, prietenii mei din R6, Blast și Ubisoft, trebuie să adauge peste 600 de persoane manual în lista de drops, pentru că Twitch a avut o eroare sau s-a apărut o eroare în encoding-ul de la Twitch și nu mai este nimeni în lista de dropuri. Da, bă, te piși pe Mercur în retrograd și în morților. Adică, eu zic ce se vorbește pe grupul de Discord despre dropuri. Poți să-i dropuri dacă te uiți pe canalul de Siege oficial sau să aștepți încă, nu știu, 10-20 de minute alături de mine să primim dropurile, pentru că zis că o să dureze undeva la 4-5 de minute, acum vreo 10-15 minute, că și ulterior o să avem dropuri.
Stop some of it, but we find ourselves in an awkward pause. There's players inside the site itself from both teams. They've got the kit there, but they want to cement this. One more kill from Benja tucked over. There goes Virtue. NJR at least gets the trade out of 2 versus 2 with our first attempted plant. But at this point, it's because everybody has died so early. Canadian, the solid, too late to activate and stop it, but they do get the pinch onto Benja. 2 versus 1, 2 over the top. They've gone to decide to go for the straight fight. The Glaz is a very terrifying opponent to hit on range. They're dancing, but they find it. Dark Zero.
Insane! Hai, Dark Zero chat, Dark Zero! Ar trebui să facem o predicție. Ar trebui. Prediction. Start prediction.
They almost managed to bring it back. The plant went down, suddenly it's a 3-on-3 situation. But Dark Zero showing that resilience that we know they have, but they need to show that a little bit more. And it's great that right after the tactical timeout, you managed to get yourself with that round win, because G2 went quick. And they might have done that on purpose, considering they just got into the tactical timeout. What better way to counter that than to speed up your game even more than usual? Although it didn't work out this time round. So Dark Zero find themselves with a round on the board. That means the first side is locked off for the next couple of rounds. And T will probably be up next again.
Okay, G2. It's not entirely flawless, but I think they'll be more than happy with the opening.
Chat, hai să facem o predicție. Mătii, dacă te joci cu băieții din KGB zile, să intre să-și pareze punctele, că this is the gambling addiction we're building.
They know how to attack it, because I'm going to be a little bit EU biased here. I think we were one of the regions that first started getting properly strong on Skyscraper because of the plays BDS were putting forward, because the plays G2 were putting forward. We had to learn how to attack it quite quickly. It's demonstrated by a world-class team here how they can get themselves in, cause themselves troubles. Because even then, you know, it's a plant, they're playing what is essentially a sort of pocket play alongside the Blitz, the Glaz over the back end. And they're going for a very quick bout of pressure. Again, look at the rotation of operators. Look at the different take. We've had this side however many times, and we've had as many different takes.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Ossa coming out right now together with the Ying. Also the line, of course, being out there. We have the Grim for area denial, so this might just lean into becoming a quick round as Nave can spot it out. Know roughly where he is. E1D didn't really spot him afterwards. So he's still around the main stairs area. He's getting a spot down onto the line though. Benja looking to take a fight. Needs to make sure he's leaning into it at the right time. Nave misses the opportunity to get the trade. The flashbang comes. Benja takes loads of damage as the E when he pops, but he stays alive most importantly.
Cumva te așteptai ca cei de la Dark Zero să câștige pe defense pentru că toate hărțile sunt defender side, dar guess what? It didn't happen.
Ducked and dived all the way. The battle of banging the drum is something that is louder. Here is Uno. He's hit the floor. The Pulse is just going to get themselves a little bit more time as they're going to see if they can find a stick. In the meantime, they have the window for support. Alamau doesn't stay with it.
Whoa!
Gets the triple on the backboard, holding on.
Ulo triple kill, let's go chat, let's go.
The remaining G2 player is all the way on the other side of the take. They haven't got the breach on the top of the stairs. They're making a lot of noise.
Benji își dă poziția de gol și NGR cu final kill.
And it's manned by that man there, returning to form, Bolo.
2-2, equalize the score. So what Dark Zero need. Of course, they have a pretty good attacking percentage, as was pointed out by the desk. But their defense was a bit weaker. And in this meta, where Skyscraper especially, 70% of the rounds go to defense over the tournament so far, you want to make sure to at least get that 3 rounds in, possibly even 4 if you can help it.
There it was, the take and the fight across. You can see they're starting to step in. I mean, Bolo activating, you kind of need it. We've had him a couple of plays in the past few days, but remember, before he sort of came into this, his history in this tournament, as well as winning it once, was when he did. He was one of statistically the best players in the whole tournament. I don't think he was MVP, but he was EVP.
Yeah.
And you sort of find that as like, okay, superstar sub, sure. He's been on the bench for a bit of time. He's been watching, making fun little videos for Twitter, and living a bit of a chaotic life.
He became so unhinged.
But look at, I mean, it's almost 2 different Bolos, right? The expressions, the intensity that he is bringing to this stage. He knows what it means to play here, and it's almost activating him. It's like a secret agent for North America. It's like getting his head on. We go down for the first time towards barbecue. Ground floor, the kitchen site. See if it can sort of play against the rotation. If Dark Zero get this, what a huge swing of momentum it would have been.
Of course, it would be a huge swing, but also kind of expected. If G2 was able to continue that 2-0, that would have been a struggling moment there for Dark Zero. Like, again, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, kind of what you've been looking at right here, to have yourself in a decent, even half. So, them going back 2 already, that's great. If they can finish that off with a complete rotation, that's even better for them. But Nave, with that Nitro cell, he's trying to find a target. And it's either the Geisha balcony where it's going, or it's going outside the Peaceful Tree window.
In and underneath. Directly towards the side, Virtue on the prep line. You can see Doki's finding a fight, but Benja's found the site, and he's found it unoccupied. Virtue goes down, but I assume there it is. Benja in the top right gets the take, and that'll make a little bit of caution. Nave tears off there to Doki. I'm surprised there's nothing in all chat.
Frumos din partea celor de la Dark Zero defensivă. Foarte agresiv, adică chiar să joacă defensiv, joacă agresiv.
He's expecting the pressure to come against them. There's the play against the kid. There's one. He's too far out for the second. Easy.
Și Nave cu double kill. Let's go.
Good hold to come through. Not panicking as soon as that defuser goes down, and just playing it calm and collected. Shutting down those final G2 players. Dark Zero. A good turnaround of momentum out here, bringing it to that 3-2, and now we have the opportunity to aim for that 4th. Which is the split that we would be looking at if we look at the tournament overall. As G2 get themselves ready again. You saw Canadian there being very vocal just a little bit earlier, like, okay, this is the right stuff, let's keep this up, we need to make sure that we continue talking. Beautiful shot from Naif out there. Doki just removed from the board.
Right is the literally just at the end. I mean, perfectly retake. They realized they'd lost the side. They rebuilt around it. They didn't just throw themselves in. Amazing.
The crowd is insane. Like,
okay, G2, 2 rounds. You've been able to put the pressure back onto this before. You've found yourself now on the groundswell. Remember, they've taken their time out and double that down.
Hai să vedem Dark Zero că e harta. Hai să vedem.
Previously, they were only able to get 1. So they needed desperately sort of a 4-2 half. If they find themselves on a 3-3, you're still sort of looking at this as not entirely game over territory, but you assume G2 will be able to put this to bed pretty quickly.
I mean, even if it's a 4-2 for Dark Zero right now, it is still like a very even game as it goes on. And of course, last time, as you mentioned, Dark Zero only able to get a single round on attack when they faced G2 here. However, it was with a different roster as well. Nafe and Bolo weren't on it. Nafe, of course, bringing a bit of that extra leadership into the game as well for the side of Dark Zero. They've really sped up as a result as well. So it's a different kind of beast that G2 will be playing with here.
They have the attention towards the top of the house VIP stairs. You can almost sense G2 there. I'm not saying slowing down their pace towards the site. They're not eyeing it up as hungrily, though, I think. They're sort of weighing and measuring every engagement. Virtue almost found one there, but Canadian's been able to slip himself around the back of a drone. Not sure if he's entirely sure. Now he will be. There's the call on the location. The pressure from underneath. Uno wants to catch him, but it's Doki that gets Nafe in the meantime. The swing from under, with NJR getting one looked out. It's suddenly back and forth, exploding all over the map. NJR, he's trying to find the next fight onto Shrine Window, but it's Bender to get Bolo.
2v2.
2 versus 2. The man of the moment of the previous round is locked out.
Canadian găsește un Penja.
Virtue, the Aussie, had a huge game against
Virtue foarte low. Și Canadian cu pump shotgun-ul. Let's go. Let's go, chat.
And he's going to take every round to get there. Great round coming down there for Canadian. And G2 really struggling in those last couple of rounds, trying to go a bit too quick maybe when they get themselves punished for it. As soon as that first kill falls, it is just pure chaos that unfolds. People die on either side of the lineup, and yes, sure, it comes back to a 2v2.
Avem dropuri, chat. Matei, dacă ești aici, avem dropuri. Merg dropurile. Zi și la Vlăduț că merg dropurile.
A good timeout we saw there, a good turnaround from the momentum G2 was starting to build. And now as we swap the sides, Canadian out there, he's doing really well. As pointed out before, he is minus 40 currently inside the tournament. And of course, the fact that, minus 34, sorry. And the thing is, he brings other things than just pure gunplay, right? Like, he's the leader, he's the one that leads that charge, basically moves his pawns around to do what is necessary. But if he then also starts showing up mechanically, starting to get kills, then Dark Zero is going to be in a really good place. So if Canadian can keep this up, G2 are going to be struggling for the remainder of this game.
I mean, it's
Bine, oricum are 7-4, deci o dus mult mai bine meciul ăsta. Pambazu apare nu o duce atât de bine, adică are 1-4. L-am văzut evoluând în meciul de la Dark Zero până acum. Excepțional a fost, un player excepțional la faptul că făcea push cu ENG atât de agresiv. E insane. Dar nu toate meciurile sunt la fel.
The break on towards Alamau. He's going to see if he can trick it. That might
double EMP.
Double EMP, almost. Could have got it, but well prepared, well rehearsed by Dark Zero. As I said, this is generally where they've sort of stepped up in the second half. Nafe bringing the mid-round adaptations, bringing the extra conversation. A big brain from EU imported over to battle against, well, EU right now.
He knows him through and through. Doki hears the repel, knows someone's going to be out of the balcony. Almost gets tagged up. The Nitro Cell believe, missed out there. So Doki having to go for a bit more aggression. Quite sure there was something looking to be tossed at. It could have been a Candela coming through indeed. Pambo should be able to.
Oh, let's go Pambazu!
The entry is theirs.
Cu entry frag pe Doki.
Knew the role of the Ying, knew the role of Candelas. You can hear that sort of echo, the cacophony of just noise. Symphony of destruction, and unfortunately for now, Doki is the first person to find himself on the wrong end of it. Alamau's trying to retake the territory. He wants to make sure that Dark Zero aren't comfortable, that they're always sort of losing in mistakes, because that was classically the best way to punish this Dark Zero team.
Although aware of the fact there's another person inside, but the rotation towards the drum is going to be there. A lot of damage! And the kill from Pamba shuts him down with the second Candela. Really making some good work out here for Dark Zero.
They're both stacked, keeping each other covered. NJR might not know that he was only a flick away from the first fight, but he's hoping he gets that one. The second hop over, but there's the trade out, Uno. He'll probably be beating himself up. He wasn't ready for this engagement now. Ben's just got to be ready for all of them. A 1 versus 4 with 40 seconds left.
I know where he is.
Done before, has a C4 in pocket. He's trying to lead into the first engagement. There it is, the kick goes cold. With 30 seconds, he just wants to get one more kill. You assume, here it is, the rotate underneath. Play the C4 potentially on towards the doorway. It gets himself a little
3v1. Benja într-o poziție o poziție destul de bună. Asta ar putea să facă un kill aici. Și dă poziție de gol. Și Biulo! Double kill pentru Biulo. 9-4.
Which could have entirely changed the face of that round. It definitely would have changed the entire round out there, but it's such a difficult position to play in that 1v4. And even if you get one kill from that staircase and they wouldn't have stacked up, you would have been locked out of rotating back into the side whatsoever. And G2, 5 rounds in a row now lost. They managed to plant in some of them. That got denied. Now in the defense.
Salut, Cristule, salut. Bă, mereu am fost online. Dar am jucat Siege. A fost Siege time pentru mine și băieții. Cumva încercăm să lucrăm mult mai mult împreună, să jucăm mult mai mult împreună. Pentru că ne dorim să mergem mai departe la campionate. Faptul că avem oportunitatea asta de a casta sau face co-stream la SA Invitationals este huge pentru mine, așa că finalele o să le petrecem împreună azi, mâine și reveal panel-ul.
I can't believe my eyes every time I turn around and I just look at it and it's like, wow,
that's because you're scared
so
of heights.
many players. Wait, why is that? I didn't hear it.
You're scared of heights.
I am also very scared of heights. It's a blessing and a curse right now.
Yeah.
All right, it is going to be T. Nave taking some very early engagement out here. He's rotating away from the window. Doesn't want to stick around whatsoever. Rightfully so. Virtue even pulled out the revolver out there, considering its DCSG was low on ammo. Didn't really want to go for the reload out there. But nothing really lost yet for either of these teams. Of course, Nave loses a lot of HP, but not the end of the world.
G2 did not have the conversation yet. They think they can swing this back. I mean, it's a first defense loss. However, this is their sort of map. This is where they wanted to bring the fight to it. Dark Zero, I think, would have prepared for this game. They have a skyscraper. They know how they want to get into the engagement, and it sort of adds those question marks. The quicker this game is, if these take it, the bigger you sort of look at that bank as the second map and go, okay, how much have you hidden this G2?
Yeah,
here's the break. We get the roll, the start on the equipment. Didn't see the rotation.
Și p-am văzut și a 3 de acolo în push-ul agresiv.
They've lost the first moment. They've lost the player who pulled a couple of kills previously.
Countermeasure up!
What are Dark Zero going to do here to try and get revenge?
Big question EMP used out there, but Ben just stepping back wisely so he can continue to use those glasses. Heart Breach in the meantime coming down as well, but I believe it got tricked out. All right, no, actually opened up, so didn't hear the explosion. Canade with a great kill onto Venja though, brings it back to a 4-on-4, but the rotation is out here from G2 now. They need to play T and karaoke. They do not need to play exhibition and office.
They're going to try and hold and play against these long angles, see if they can get just a pull back. Remember, the pressure of time is on Dark Zero. They almost had things fall away from them in the 4
Și este un 4v4. Dark Zero 5-2. 5 runde au luat după avantajarea de la G2, care au luat primele 2 runde.
Along that line of drama I talked about, and Shrine, and you know, the sort of terrace area, if you cannot get your way past it, you will throw the round. You'll throw the ability to get the attack. they're still struggling to get the territory. 15, 20 seconds have now passed, and this is only when they're getting the intel on, well, where are they? Doki, he can just play this.
Yeah, there's no more smoke canisters though, so push is definitely coming to shove. Flashbangs coming in, the EMPs as well. There's 10 seconds on the
Ultimele 10 secunde o să fie
Just flashbangs right now, as Doki will find the very first.
There's the swing, Canadians doing his best, and Doki goes down, they flooded in before they're knocked right out by the dam built by G2.
și este 5-3 pentru cei de la G2.
Get some heat back in their favor, finally stopped Dark Zero's round count of 5 in a row. They said, okay, that's about enough. 5-3. They can still work on this.
Still worrying how that round went, because even though there was 20 seconds left before the actual execute came through, it came down to a 1v1 situation. Virtue this time, you know, able to clutch it out, but if there was a little bit of extra time there for Dark Zero, they would have been able to slow that down a bit more and you know, probably still get those kills, but also the information on the last player. Luckily though, for G2, they stem the bleeding, at least for now. And the timeout has been called. And that's probably also due to the fact that it wasn't as clean as they wanted to, and because of the fact that they lost round 7, they want to turn it around now before it becomes a map point for Dark Zero.
I mean, you're otherwise sort of risking it, right? We talk about the importance of when to take timeouts. We said it in the game the other day where Liquid, they have a habit of taking their timeouts around round 6, around where a couple of rounds have gone a bit wrong, but you have to sort of, as a job of the coach, and it's a very hard job of the coach, predict when you can sort of notice the players are getting in their own heads. You've got to Doctor Strange it. You've got to see this is a bad storyline. Let me wave my hands around a little bit.
That's like one way.
Pull down my mic and then get myself sorted.
The passion in all these fans is amazing to see, as momentarily we'll get back into it and continue after the timeout from G2. So that means no more timeouts for the remainder of this map. Both these teams will just have to do it with the 5 players on their team against the 5 opposing ones. There's no more intervention from the coach.
Now the fun sort of spread of these maps is when you
Eu și folosesc ambele timeout-uri, da. L-avem pe Canadian cu Thatcher, Biulo cu Jackal. Biulo duce foarte bine, 10-5. Salutare, Viponțu, salut. Avem pe Discord. Te trag în păcat pe Discord să comentăm împreună. E ziua 1 din finală. Mâine e finala, după aia reveal panel.
TSM and SSG for Canadian and Bolo a piece, but I think I'd feel pretty confident in assuming
those are mainstay maps, right?
Club and Bank made it, so they know how to bring a fire with them onto these big games, onto these big engagements.
And of course, like, complete metas have shifted and changed with the new operators and balancing that has come through. Like a big one, for example, is only to
Stai să-l pornesc?
grenades.
N-am Discord-ul pornit
Changed
asta.
up a lot of these pro players, their perspective on how to play the game, because before we saw these players always go below, use that grenade from underneath, get a kill or two before they execute it on the site. It is way more head-to-head now.
Now, you haven't mentioned it yet, but I think it's worth talking about the site selection here. Obviously, you're onto one of, I think, probably...
No. Bună ziua! Pe cine pariați banii în această seară minunată?
Bă, cine câștigă mapa 1? Sau cum se joacă?
Pe cum e mapa 1? Pariți pe Dark Zero, sincer.
Păi având în vedere că G2 pierde cu 5-3...
Nu putem arăta chat-ul, dar băieții spun lucruri interesante despre cei de la G2, F-Word, G2. Chat-ul este foarte amuzant pe canalul celor de la Rainbow Six. Dar rooting for Dark Zero, cum zice și colegul, era 5-2, dar au reușit să iau rând de cel de la G2. Să vedem un Dark Zero în finala mare.
Nu m-ar deranja.
Și așa îmi părea pe ei. Ar fi frumos să avem surprize.
Da. Dar e un meci greu cu G2-ul. meci greu. Chiar dacă e 5-3 pentru Dark Zero, G2 poate oricând să
egaleze și să-i și bată.
G2 este genul de echipă care prima mapă joacă mai calm, mai calculat și abia după aia începe să facă picuri mai ciudate, să zic așa, mai speciale.
Și G2 cu încă o rundă. 5-4.
Cum am zis. Ușor, ușor recuperează.
And it just keeps coming back, and G2 find themselves 4-5 now. A single round from equalizing the score.
Ai fost ocupat. S-a putut da DM că hai să joci, hai să joci cu noi.
Sometimes there's a habit of when games get close, it gets even closer. Now they've been pretty good at keeping themselves out of OT. They've been pretty good at winning rounds. Remember the last series these two teams played against each other.
Păi am fost captivat de magia Helldiver-urile.
Love Wally.
Always good to see parents get involved with esports.
I mean, he's been all around the world.
Ne adunăm seara asta după 7.
I mean, he'll know it very well.
Forța, forța.
This is the moment here where
Partichipi.
Cel mai probabil că mi-e dor un pic așa de magia R6-ului. Am eliberat destule planete pentru democrație momentan.
Destulă?
Adică una.
Ai dat sweat suficient de mult.
Nu neapărat că am dat sweat, cât m-a prins jocul extrem de tare.
Mi-am găsit, mă rog, jucându-mă doar flex, cum se joacă și Bulo, m-am ajuns la un KD constant de 1, 0, 9, adică nu e neapărat constant, dar se învârte în zona aia.
Am mai găsit jucători pentru echipă sau pula?
Suntem cu Vlăduț, cu Stranger, Matei, Bumi și eu momentan. Cam așa s-a jucat în ultimele zile. Am jucat foarte mult cu Vlăduț și cu Stranger și cu Bumi. Am avut meciuri interesante, am avut și meciuri cu codați și meciuri simple, unde am mers 4-0 versus mers ca și uns, meciuri în care am fost top fragger pentru echipa mea.
Aha, deci m-ați părăsit, vă țin minte.
Dacă ne-am mai jucat cu noi.
Hai mă, n-am jucat 4 zile în pula mea.
Da mă, da, 4 zile sunt 4 zile. Trebuia să vii.
Nu mai aveți nevoie de suportul de
Păi, în funcție de câți oameni se fac echipă. Alemano triple kill!
Face isso? Mamă, G2 a întors situația.
Have lost their momentum completely, have lost their lead completely. And of course, some of these rounds have been close. They're just like an inch away from potentially finding one of these rounds and at least force overtime. But G2 over the course of this half has been starting to grow, has been starting to get more convincing in their round wins. And Alama with an amazing 3K to come down upon Dark Zero there.
I mean,
swapping in between guns as well for the distances.
2 with the SMG, the 3rd on the MPX. That's his backup gun.
Yeah, you know.
Who needs a primary? That's for special occasions. It's great play. You go to that because of its quick rate of fire. You don't need the damage drop-off distance. You're playing narrow angles anyway from within about, as you said, a 5-foot radius. The knowledge of swapping in and out, the knowledge of having control, it pulls it well together.
5 seconds remaining.
And as we go closer and closer towards map point.
Vă rooting for Dizzy, dar totodată vreau să văd o finală spectaculoasă, nu... Chiar dacă am părea pe cei de la Dark Zero, nu mă supără faptul că o să ajungă G2 în finală. Că sunt o echipă foarte puternică, sunt o echipă care merită să ajungă în finală, se vede că sunt foarte coordonați.
There's a Grim, so what you would expect is the Grim to start shooting those Bs, Amaru cause some havoc, and the multi to go for a plant. But will G2 be ready for it? Will they respond before it can even get going?
They have the Tibber out to slow things down and bring some pace, but to be honest, over the rounds, it's these pocket situations. I said they're finding corners, making things challenging. Oh! That is just poor timing. Alamau, huge round before and a missed one this time. NJR gets Benja at 5 versus 3 now.
Frumos, din partea celor de la Dark Zero, un 5v3 acum.
Dangerous. They can get themselves in and aggressive onto the site within a bit of a blink of an eye, especially with that supernova shotgun. There's a bit of the rotation, the motion. They know that they have the 5 versus 3 body advantage. They know they were 5-2 in round advantage, and that has slipped away. They have to ensure this doesn't as well.
If this slips over, it is absolutely detrimental for Dark Zero. So as you mentioned, they need to make sure they can drag this across the finish line. There is clutch potential on G2. There's always has been. And as we do have Doki still up on the top floor, whereas Uno and Virtue find themselves on the side, a flank is not to be written out and could be coming in at a huge moment in time.
They're just getting that read. They're finding out where Nafe is. Doki is that loose thread, that sort of problem child that might rear their head and kick up a bit of a tantrum with guns, but they're sort of not focused about it right now. If they can get the safety on Canadian, you might go for a bit of reverse plant. They just need to keep the vertical control, so Doki has to move at this point.
Insane din partea celor de la Blast și de la Ubisoft. Noi în teorie trebuie să avem dropuri, sau mă rog, nu am avut dropuri o bună bucată din stream, pentru că Twitch issues. Se pare că cei de la Twitch au fost amuzanți și toți streamerii au rămas fără dropuri și au trebuit să fie adăugate manual. Dar s-a produs foarte repede, în 20 de minute am primit toți dropuri. 3v3. Ultimele 10 secunde, 3v2.
G2, they have the clutch potential, and there you see it in action right away. 6-5.
A nebunit chat-ul de la Rainbow.
Îl văd.
Because you had everything going for you. You had the long angle, you had the Montaigne. And then within seconds it all falls apart.
Insane meciul ăsta. Cred că rivalitatea între cele două echipe e uriașă.
And I think everybody remembers how that game ended, how close Dark Zero were to securing themselves in that upper bracket, to securing themselves, I believe, a top 3 finish. And yet, here they are, once again, an advantage slipping through their fingers. The mental sort of break and push back of having themselves so close to success, so close to getting themselves into that position.
Sunt reduceri la bundle-uri. Dacă vrei să ții ceva. Destul de mare.
știu că acum am intrat pe joc.
Ia-ți la cu bannerul cu pisici, că toți îl purtăm acum. E 334 de R6 points sau 330 de R6 points. Nu, 303 cred că. Oricum e super ieftin, e 300 de la 720. Că primești reducere că e SI-ul.
Bundle-ul cu pisici?
E pe P90 și are background cu pisici.
Dark Zero needing to find a response, otherwise Matt Bond goes away.
Promotions.
Opening is there. Timber out just in time. It's going to be stopping that breach, but gives the opportunity, more importantly, for the G2 members to rotate out and get themselves to safety and waste that extra bit of time.
Precious time, ever ticking here, and it is that sort of shamed moment that it is that aspect of Dark Zero that we keep finding ourselves in, but the compliments. Every talent and every sort of team's been able to pay them, and their game, this event, has been the adaptations they've brought, the late round fire that hasn't otherwise existed from them before. It just takes a second to get themselves onto the advantage they had. They know they can punish G2's players. In the gun game, they've done it multiple times, sometimes to their success, sometimes to their detriment. To go from their last confrontation on this map, being a one-rounder, to this one-round-awayer, shows the growth, however.
Mă jur că nu-l găsesc.
Bă, la eSports. Și nu mai știu la ce echipă e. Are niște pisicuți în fundal cu galben, cu bandă izolatoare, cu... Nave nu duce bine meciul ăsta. Schimb, Biolo duce bine. Și ENG găsește al doilea. Oh, ENG double kill! ENG triple kill. Și G2 câștigă prima hartă. Ce throw din partea celor de la Dark Zero.
La Sandbox, mă.
Da, mă, Sandbox, nu știam. Ăla ni l-am luat. Eu, Vlăduț, Stranger. Nu știu cine mai avea. Eram 3. Acum suntem 3 care îl purtăm ăsta.
G2 bringing it back. What a massive story.
What a game. I mean, going down 5-2 and coming back, that's such a massive thing for G2. I said coming into this map, I expected wonders, and I think they delivered on it. Could they have been faster? Probably.
That was incredible. Honestly, the mental fortitude that G2 had to be down 5-2 on stage, you know, their map pick, the map they're literally one of the best, if not the best team in the world at, and they get to come all the way back.
Just so impressive, and everything that they did in their attacks. I think G2 were a little bit fast, they were a little bit hot on the potato maybe. They kept going really aggressive and just kept pushing. Had they slowed down a bit, I think they would have gone a little bit faster here.
The gaps were very clearly there that we highlighted that they would be from DZ. And we'll come on to that. And G2 obviously tried to exploit them, and I think on their attacks maybe forced it a little bit too much. That's the nerves of being on the main stage. That's the nerves of playing in front of the crowd. Then once they settled in,
Ți-l iei sau ți-ai altceva?
L-am luat.
Mi-am luat și la pe termen, mai știu, de la Beast, nu, Sonic, Beast Coast. Nu știu dacă era ceva cu un monstru, un fel de Hyper Beast în spate. Îți dă...
Mai am mers 6 points, mai am 300 și ceva.
Păi și ăla, tot 300 și ceva e.
Even engaging with a shotgun when necessary.
I mean, that's the thing with G2 as well. They have all this individual performance that
Mi-am luat două bundle-uri.
have an end of that pit. It's just endless amount of individual performance, and they're just incredible.
What about Dark Zero? Is there anything that we can take from this? Because let's remember, this was a close match.
Yeah, this was close. I think it could have been much further away had G2 not have messed up their attacks. However, the one thing for Dark Zero for me, they've got to look at their attacks and how slow they are.
Yep.
They want to... The way attacking is done
Mamă,
at the
ENG
minute
cu
is you do it with
14-9.
probably 70%
Și Yulo cu
certainty
12-9 și tot au pierdut.
Da, Canadian 9 cu 8, Nave nu a avut impact așa de mare și Pambazu nu a avut o singură rundă bună.
Whatever it may be, even Doki on that round of barbecue kitchen, he jumped out of the window near Minster side, jumped back in the restaurant window, right? Those plays you're susceptible to when you take it so late on into the round. They've got to improve that pacing.
I love my grandmother, but Dark Zero were way slower than her, and she moves very, very slowly. It just, yeah, they run out of time, as you say, Jack, but it allows G2 to always have the, we know what they're gonna do because they're so predictable.
Well, that was map number 1. Before we talk about our second one, Alphama is standing by on the Talistration station. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Miloš. And indeed, the reason why G2 won this match is because they were able to win in attack. How do you win attack? On Skyscraper, one of the most defender-sided map in the map pool right now. Well, let's take a look at Dark Zero's defense. They're on T-Room and Karaoke. Very classic strat. They extend through the whole floor. They want to defend zone number 1, then peel off to zone number 2 and zone number 3. The way G2 is set up right now, it's classic split theory. You've got 2 entries pressuring zone number 1, and the idea is that the 2 cutoffs here are going to punish any movement from the zone number 1 to zone number 2. Now, where it gets even smarter is that Alimao, the in-game leader of the team, is actually sitting on Karaoke window, just close to sight, ready for an opportunity. Now, let's take a look at the real footage. Doki, Benja on entry right now, ready to pressure zone number 1. Virtu, Uno as cutoff. But Virtu is not only a cutoff, he's also pressuring site. And he's gonna get the pick on the anchor on site. And that's based off Alimao's intel on the drone. Alimao sees this, uses the Lion, rappels in and gets the second pick on the second anchor. After this, honestly, site is open, they've done very well, and that's how G2 is winning rounds. If you want to see more of G2 versus Dark Zero, it's coming after just a short break.
Bă, sincer, ar trebui să facem și noi chestia asta. Să facem split push și toate cele. Dar noi nu ne coordonăm. Codrinelu.
Da, mă gândesc că ar trebui să facem asta. Adică cu Vlad și cu ăștia făceam cât de cât split push, că Stranger făcea push într-o parte, Vlad era în altă parte, Matei era cu mine. Încercăm să dăm control, să facem space. Pauză publicitară, 6 minute de pauză publicitară.
Ia, bărăbă.
Pam. Bă, interesant faptul că G2 a luat harta 1, chiar nu mă așteptam, adică mă așteptam să fie un meci strâns, dar nu să ia G2 harta întâi. Guess what? It happened. Să sperăm că Dark Zero nu pierde la 0, nu să-și ia 2-0 și atunci... sau, mă rog, poate câștigă Dark Zero următoarele două hărți. Chat, aveți dropuri? Aveți... Ce aveți? Stați că trebuie să verificăm dropurile pentru voi. Nici nu știu ce să acum dropuri. Trebuie să aveți charm. Sunt două charmuri. Este SI 2024 Generic Red Charm, SI 2024 Frost și ulterior două pachete, unul pentru 4 ore și unul pentru 6 ore de watch time. Între 22 și 24 februarie aveți Amaru Weapon Skin, dacă nu l-ați luat, da. Sunt 4 pachete, da. 4 pachete și 2 charmuri. Oricum o să fim live 4 ore. Pam. Să primiți
Welcome back, everybody, to 6 Invitational 2024. Map number 1 is done between Dark Zero and G2, but we potentially still have 2 more to go. We're here on the analyst desk to set you up for our second map. That will be Bank. Dark Zero will start off on the defense. We got some info just for you. Hello, welcome. I'm Elish, with me are Fresh and Fabian. And now with Dark Zero on the back foot, losing map 1. A close map 1, but a loss nonetheless. They start on defense on Bank. Is there something that we can compare it to when Sky?
So Bank and Skyscraper play out quite differently, because the split theory that we saw Alphama explain to us from G2 on Skyscraper doesn't work as well or as often on Bank as it does on Skyscraper. So I'm expecting to see slightly similar, but at the same time very different. What I'm expecting of G2 in their attacks is a lot of window repels for almost every
Am
bomb site,
revenit.
because that's just the way I know they play.
Welcome back.
Split Fury can only really be applied on the top floor when you're trying to take control of the top floor bank. Then you've got to play defaults. However, G2 did bring in Uno when they wanted to help them with their defaults. This might be why we've not seen them. We've seen them permaban away bank for quite a long time. I think that's why we've seen them bring them out, because they're now going to be
Vi pun trecătuneri aici. Avem 4 pachete astăzi, 2 charmuri.
Am văzut.
SI 2024 generic red charm, SI 2024 frost charm și 4 pachete cu skin-uri pentru diferiți operatori sau arme.
Well, you know you're going to be pushed, so you have your gun up and you're expecting everything to happen.
Take some risks, literally, because the solid safe approach has not worked in map 1. You've been basically reverse swept. Take a few more risks in bank, because if not, you're going to be going home.
Could we see more shield play? Because I know when it's match point and you're bringing up a Montaigne, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, this is desperation. Would we see Clash would be slower gameplay also from Dark Zero in defense?
If we're going to see any shield play, it would be an attack from a Monty, because there's so many things you can do with a Monty on bank. If they're a server, you come in through dirt and you push the first bomb site straight into it. You can even go without taking anything else off the map. Top floor, you can come up the spiral staircase, you come in through heaven. There's so much you can do with Monty in attack. Clash, not so much, just because of how spread out the players can be in attack.
Although for G2 that it actually wouldn't be a bad idea. We saw it like 3-4 years ago. The Clash on the server stairs might work really well for them if they read more into the fact that DZ are so slow.
I mean, Buck on the attack. Also, we've talked how important the operator is for attackers in general. Great on the entry. Great to use on bank.
Yeah, I think Buck overall, because of the hard breach get it, especially together with the vertical gameplay, he can be used.
Predicțiile pentru finalul s-au terminat deja.
Ram, top floor, anything that's on the middle floor, because of how much
Au început acum 4 zile după din play-off-uri. De când au început play-off-urile. Luni cred că au început predicțiile. Momentan sunt închise, nu se mai pot modifica. Au fost open pentru 48 de ore.
Băi, și am primit ceva cu predicțiile alea care le-am făcut?
Încă nu. La finalul, dacă ai destule puncte, vei primi pachete.
Thank you very much, and it is very much up to us. We are as high as possible in this building.
Dacă ai 15 puncte, vei primi, cred că 30 de pachete sau 20 ceva de pachete, printre care și câteva care includ legendară garantată și epică garantată. Bank.
Let's get into the bandstand as we head towards the next map again. I looked over to my right and I saw the
Mamă, dar așa banat e Doca să-mi bag picioarele.
Da? Al doilea cel mai banat operator din...
I almost did.
Now here's the point I was going to make. If you hadn't have just almost slipped off the side, I was going to talk about... I was going to build up some hype. Talk about the deposits made at this bank and the history of these two teams. Talk about their ability. Well, I mean, we got time. Now we're going to see a Dokkaebi and an Azami ban come through. We're going to see a Fenrir ban and a Monty is the change. Now Milosh all the way down there did say, are we going to see more shields play? No, is the answer. Azami, ZZZZZ. To be fair, yeah, I mean, they've only not banned Dokkaebi Azami about twice or 3 times. 2 of those times they lost the map. One of them they banned Jaeger, one of them they banned Valkyrie, and they lost those maps. So the success rate of banning both versus not banning his army is in DZ's favor.
It is, but I was also expecting, like, the further we go into series and the further we go into a tournament, you kind of want to see these teams swap off their default bans if possible. Maybe lean in a bit more towards the opponent they are facing. Maybe that's why, like, if anything, it was going to be a Monty that was going to be played. Well, no longer there. So how is that going to be answered upon is, of course, that big question. Hookers up first.
Și Dark Zero din nou la defense. Nici nu mă play, Matei. O să fie Grim. O să rămână pe Grim. Ale Mao va rămâne pe Grim. Sper convins de de asta.
Dacă e deschis, e poți să încerci să ține garajul?
Eu l-am asta în garaj.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially, you know, given the fact that the pressure is already on them with that first map off the board. Geez, they can start this off strong. It's going to be a big hit to the side of Dark Zero. Now, we start off by clearing out
I-a găsit ecodronul, s-ar putea să vadă și ca un maestro, pentru că a luat IQ.
The yokai drones come to mind first. Those are usually quite a problem, especially in the late round if you want to go for a plants to come through. But it also helps you to see the Warden if they are activating the gadget.
Now, I sort of took the history of these two teams, and when they played this map on SI 2023, it was 7-5. So the growth that they had on Sky.
Știi ce este confirmat și nu, tu n-ai fost pe fază să ți se spună? 1.5 își va lua remove, la fel și 2x și 2.5x.
Da, o să se întoarce la COG, o să se întoarcă la COG și la Holo.
Da.
They were basically on him out there. If he would have stayed a second longer, would have dropped before he was able to actually fall back down the stairs. Like the blockers coming down there.
Yeah, huge amount of gadgetry around the side of lockers, the Maestro bubbles. You know you're going to be battling against NJR smoke canisters, the Echo drones alongside Bolo as well. And then you've got Goyo. This is truly set up. Is a very long, very deep war of utility attrition. There's going to be a little quick play against the second bubble. There is the destruction of some of those canisters as well. G2 getting as much of this work done early on. They've already removed, I think, 2 of the bubbles. There's at least 1 left in this situation. There was a I think we got to see whether it entirely got its victim or if there's just 2 that are similarly based. No, because I think they went
Poți să zici că mai bine le distrugi decât le iei, dar...
Yeah, definitely so. And as Doki is now forced back in the bomb where Wolf being on fire and being shot out through the window, it's Injure and it goes down. Instead, Doki not able to get the kill. They've dropped in the vault hat.
Și Dark Zero în dezavantajul 3v5. 2v5.
They could take from Dark Zero after what happened at the end of the last map to leading into this one could be tragic.
S-ar putea să vedem eliminarea lui Dark Zero.
I mean, that's a tragedy written in blood.
It is, and I mean the thing is, right, there was so much utility plays.
I mean, ego-ul Canadian dinainte de începerea meciului s-ar putea să coste pe Dark Zero turneul, când Doki, deși ei are o rivalitate foarte mare cu Canadian, a încercat să fie humble. Canadian a zis see you after the game, s-ar putea ca acest ego să-l coste, să fie mult prea tiltat să mai joace cu cap.
G2 got a really good read on how much attention was being paid towards the default plant spot. They started clearing all of the utility that was stuck there. I don't know why Scream is here. That's fun. But as pointed out in Alfama's brilliant illustration, breaking back how G2 attack, how they pull parts whilst they're doing the maps there, they're realizing Nave's a bit isolated here. We have this situation. They're not, you know, they've got one person watching 2 very important hatches. The other one is focused on because we're putting attention there.
Play de Brava.
Da, putea să ia Maestro.
Încă o încercare de a lua Maestro-ul.
Brava, dronurile s-au dus.
Not only do they zap, but also the amount of information that they feed towards the defensive team. That's the big issue there. If you want to go for a plant, they're going to be seeing what is happening. It's going to be feeding into the defense's way to try and retake that. So they failed getting that. Now they're going to have to play without it.
Looking for the first kill, the first bite, and I'm really excited if Birch is going to go up through a hatch here right next to Nafe. It makes a lot of noise. And they got to ensure that there's at least noise being made elsewhere. What does that? A boogie drone. Nothing can be blamed on you missing it. If you're entirely surrounded by this, they are not hitting the hatch directly as of yet. The rotation onto the procs, the play on beepers. You can see someone's coming above him onto the top wide. Uno is trying to force the players further out. Nafe goes down. Virtue must be up and in the sight. No. Up towards the hatch potentially, or we had to rotate down from Nafe. But in the meantime, NJR taking pressure on towards Benjamaster here. Pamba gets Uno. Dark Zero held on, but the trade out from Doki, the Lion, across the top floor. They have a lot of time. Can they try and find a pocket of space?
It's the big question as Virtue holding off on the angle. 2 players from G2 still left up above as Canadian finds himself inside of Archives. Didn't get droned out, but the drone was shot, so Virtue definitely does have an ID of that there's someone present out there.
Another E1D pulses out and everybody finds themselves unfortunately stationary apart from NJR, who's sent to the station of hell. They're coming just deep onto the corner box. Canadians are backline with a triple on the back of it.
Și G2 mai ia încă o rundă.
A replication of the first map.
Cumva,
cel mai probabil Canadian este tiltat datorită...
G2 îl exploatează pe Canadian pentru că, virgulă, este weak link-ul celor de la Dark Zero, izolându-l pe Canadian și exploatând fiecare ban sau fiecare oportunitate de a-l izola pe Canadian, le aduce celor de la G2 un win și le aduce rundă de rundă.
Maybe they have the opportunity to carry themselves back in for this third round.
Oh, that is just... Oh, there's that combination of the Lion, Doki. He started to explode here. He had some moments on the previous map, especially towards the end. You can see his confidence build. And here, leading in, 3 kills in that round. He's going to stay on a French operator.
Cred că va fi o rundă foarte scurtă, un meci foarte scurt.
Dacă G2 iese de pe atac cu 6-0, da.
Yeah, and both of them, of course, came down in that last round in the early trading engagements that we had whilst the roam was being cleared out by G2. And after that, when the site started being hit, nothing really being out there anymore to stop them from truly moving through. As Canadian gets the opening kill onto Benja.
Much better here from Dark Zero. They're sort of stepping into the approach. I think they realized how much territory they handed G2 to be exploratory. They were dipping their toes in every single take possible. And there's some toes that are absolutely torn off. Alamau caught in the back, and this is a bit of a sort of wake up for both teams, I think. As I said, much better change of pace. Nafe just misses an opportunity onto Virtue, but as he saw the rotation, he's almost guaranteed to call that out to Bolo, who he saw playing around these positions before. Still on the hatch, though, they've actually just opted to retreat.
Yeah, there's only a single player, Dark Zero, on the side before Canadian dropped down, so I think they're going to be focusing more on the actual side itself now. Nafe on the hunt, going over to the top floors, going to see if he can do anything vertically, whilst Virtue waiting patiently near the elevator hatch for a potential drop or a misstep of one of these players. Canadian got quite close there, just kept himself out of range, however.
I mean, I appreciate more this approach here from Dark Zero, because you have Nafe on a Solace. Virtue takes the drop. Zuno gets NJR. Virtue might get punished by Canadian and is. That's the kit locked inside the elevator hatch. Zuno and Doki both suffering scrape. Nafe still above, has the full vertical control.
Avem un 2v4.
As these two are battling in a side, it is
Nafe și Nafe. Ia runda pentru Dark Zero.
A reflection of the previous map of a 2-1 over the first 3 rounds, but this time they haven't needed to use their timeout.
Yeah, and that's the most important part, and as I mentioned, they probably have faith that they can get back into it by themselves, not needing to have the help of the coach at that moment in time. So, with that, we find ourselves 2-1. We are headed towards Tellers and Archives. I'm still conflicted about this site, because the entire open top of it can be opened up, but we've been seeing it quite a bit over the past couple of plays. 9 times now to come through, but it's pretty 50-50.
It's one of those sites where, it has a long history. It has a lot of problems in the current meta, as a lot of sites do, just how easily it can be opened up vertically. You lose a lot of control, and you can't control it from underneath either. You cannot get yourself back in as you can on a lot of other sites. And, you know, you look towards the rotations you can do on hatches across open. You look towards just how much of it this turns into a total of about 5 or 6 total rooms for an entire take over the 2 stories. And it becomes very, very tricky to either survive holding into that space when they're above you, or reclaim it in time if they're able to get in the room and they gotta play below you.
Avem un Solis cu shotgun.
As long as they can do what they did in the previous
Bambazu pe Solis. Mă așteptam cumva ca Canadian să joace Solis. E most pick operator din partea lui Canadian, 38 de picuri pe Solis.
We also have them inside a janitor just to block off any of the repels that come through. Good use of the gadget out there.
And JR's inside and JR's outside. Alamau has the lockdown and the pinch on the player. That means now that Bolo's rotation is gone. So is Doki, Nave. It's a bit of revenge for the fights and the kills these two have had over the previous map. Fun fact, when G2 was in an SI final last year, he actually typed shout out Nave into the all chat.
I remember that.
So it'll be very funny to see the response
Biolo cu ante pe 1.
As I said, he'd lost his rotate option. Now they're losing all the players. Alamau somehow gets a scream through onto Canadian. Inside, getting the kit done. This is the problems on the retake. They're having to move quite quickly here. The 3 remaining players, and Alamau's not entirely secure yet because, well, there's no G2 to offer some support. Benja, he's inside open. Virtue's trying to rotate his way up green to just get the crosswatch. Here it goes down again, but a Solace, well, they're fishing, and unfortunately, they're a little bit too late. No! Just in time, Pamba cuts Alamau, cuts the kid, Nath cuts the stairs in half. Benja alone in a 1 versus 3. This gives his game away. They give their game of saying, I'm not going to take this fight yet. They don't need to. They don't want to.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Aware of the fact that the diffuser has been recovered, and as soon as Benja's going to start, they should be aware.
Oh, he's off.
Yeah, he's going off. He's just trying to bait out the Solace now, knowing Pamba's still around, and that plant will never happen as long as they are. This is usually why you need to have someone on the top floor to provide yourself with that verticality.
The impossibility of this site. The impossibility of this site on the other sort of flip half as well as Benja. He realizes they're not giving him anything. We saw all 3 DZ players go wider and wider, further away. He's able to take out Nath. But look at the positions of Pamba and Bolo. Pamba's still above. The second that kit starts to hit the ground, there's the reveal. Here's the shotgun fight.
Și am văzut cu acel pump shotgun. Un vertical play.
But as you mentioned, it was no support. Virtue in the meantime was pushing up the main stairs to find himself at the, well, steps towards the basement, but having the opportunity to stop anybody from coming down the main stairs, from rotating through the lobby, and tried to provide support that way. That's what they were waiting for. But it took a bit too long.
Aparent faptul că îl targetează pe Canadian nu prea a început să nu mai meargă.
I mean, what an advert for the operator. The shotgun there, the take onto the first, if it was a post plant. Yeah. Think about the positions G2 had, the fact that they had to rotate higher there up the stairs. I mean, cruel, that last one. Was because they knew they needed to retake the vertical. They couldn't leave the Solace there, but then, you know, they lose the swing from the elevators. G2 had a window of opportunity, but unfortunately I think it was not the one they ordered, and they were a little bit surprised on where to put it. Didn't quite fit the decor and the design of the building. But 2 apiece, all to play for DZ. They've brought themselves back into here now.
Round is pretty close though. It is coming down to just like a slight mistake or a lack of control. But these rounds could go the other way. And we're headed back towards open area now, which was of course won by G2 as well. It was quite a heavy fight over the top floor as we started off with a 2-on-2 trade.
Din nou încercarea cu Solis de a lua Maestro Cameras eșuată, cu Brava.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Give me your... Oh, Maestro Cam just got it. And And now that's a very big problem because you've got to use one of those impacts to get rid of it. Luckily, you have 4. NJR planned for worst case scenario. However, I think it was DZ where they had all 3 bubbles stolen, and then Canadian got the kill onto the player in exchange. I think it was. It might have been NJR. They used to. I think lessons learned from that previous video. A minute gone. G2, they're closer to the site, but they don't have the control above. Doki cannot win out the first engagement. They had an awareness on each other. Canadians looking for a second. It's Benja, but Benja's dropped from locked inside the
5v3.
site.
Foarte bune tradurile de la
All of these fights where
Dark Zero.
have a little bit more intel, a little bit more of an idea of G2's approach. Virtue up the white stairs with Bolo more than ready. There's the demonstration. A bit of a slip, a bit of a snafu out on the back. I'm assuming that was from a gunfight.
5v1 pentru că Alama este foarte low.
You know, aside of one of those impacts, the C4 itself, and that'll be the end of his life this round.
Yeah, and it should be a Dark Zero round. They have complete control of the site. They have complete control of the top floor as well. And even though there's a mid...
Oh, ce urât! Ce troll din partea celor de la G2 acolo.
There we go. The ending is there.
Și NGR cu one tap.
Extend the suffering for more than it had to be.
Whoops.
Well, that's definitely a whoops.
The Clown Prince of Rainbow Six gets his moments here on his home turf. But luckily, he's full of... he's as deadly as he is funny. Dark Zero. 3 rounds to 2. They have themselves an advantage that's very similar to how it was before, but it feels very different statistically. They're getting themselves into this as more sort of tight engagements. There's less of a sort of, it's G2's game, now it's Dark Zero's game. They had a lot of fire and a lot of fury on the fight back of Skyscraper up to 5th point. Here it feels a little bit more relaxed for now. They have a very good awareness on G2's approaches, and I think it's now the pressure sort of on G2 to kind of get their heads back in, give a little bit more respect to Dark Zero's game there.
I think it also helps that they haven't called in their tactical timeout. It just gives you a bit more like control feeling, that is, because you've done it yourself. You brought it back yourself. Of course, the coach is part of your team, but you only have one of them. One of those call-ins that you can do with them for 45 seconds. And as Bolo,
Dark Zero oricum are un tactical timeout. Cei de la G2 nu mai au, l-au folosit deja.
There is no commando drones to steal things as well. None of that cover and split. There is still a burn of utility. The blinds come out with nothing behind them. Very loud gadget, both visually and in the audio game. So it sort of will force a bit of fear into the players. Doki's getting the reveal of the swing. They know they cannot just push up dirt without taking a direct engagement. They might not know that the player has left. Now they'll have the reveal. Canadian in the core of the map playing his favorite thing, which is an intel gatherer from range. Pulse is often the sighted one. Great removal of utility. 2 minutes and they've already got rid of all of those Goyo canisters. As they find a fight, they went in and then right out. Canadian with the heartbeat had the full read, the E1B. A little bit too late there to stop that kill.
Yeah, a bit of an unlucky moment there for G2 that Alamau met with Canadian, but at least the trade comes in. Benja, however, gets pre-fired, and that's a diffuser now dropped in the hands
Și Nave are control asupra diffuzorului.
Stayed on top of the hatch. You could see he flirted with the idea for a second, but I think he saw the kid hit the ground and said, I'm going to stick around, see what else I
Canadian
can do. 3
pierde
versus
fightul
3.
cu Virtue.
Virtue, he's sort of caught in the bit of a middle here. He needs to go and recollect that kit. He's the closest man, but with a minute 30, they can rotate, and the pings are still on him. You wonder if it's a Val cam. You wonder what the read is. Hope it's not a default, but as they opt to go for a slightly longer engagement, Virtue, he's expecting the fight, the swing. It's Pamba that just sort of says, I'm here, and then heads off, wastes a bit more time, wastes a little bit more of this precious sort of utility that Dark Zero struggled with last map.
A minute left, and I still think both those Yokai drones are on the board. One of them was in lobby. That must have been the intel that was being fed about Virtue's positioning, closing in on the player in elevator. And there's 55 seconds are left. You just see G2, they're preparing themselves, they're preparing angles. Uno is looking to go for a point. No, actually, it's not Uno. It's Virtue that has to go for the pickup, because Uno is going to be probably jumping in after those Candelas to see what he can do.
Now, as Bolo rotates the Echo drones round, with the amount of time left, they have the charges to dictate the story of this, put themselves onto the 4-2 split, 30 seconds, and Uno, he's dicing and dancing around a drop that you assume Dark Zero are going to pay a little bit more attention to, but there's a rotate coming up the stairs. The Valkyrie's gone on an adventure. They're going to see if they can find an engagement. If Uno gets caught here, it could all be over. The long throw, the play, they've gone 2 stories up. Bolo, he's alone in the site as the pressure goes around. Nave, he may as well
Biolo găsise kill-ul. G2 egalează 3-3.
Don't plans right on the first site they open up, because the hatch above has been opened. That means that if that roamer is still out there, you might find yourself caught. So what do? You dig in deep, you get yourself in the middle of the lockers, which are just so much more difficult to retake, especially coming from above. And the kill on the Echo, so important as well. If they were to be able to fall back into goal and use those yokai drones,
to say
welcome to hell.
Welcome to hell. Now I feel less bad that I cited a call earlier as being sent to hell. Because, I mean, they're welcoming them here. There, the coverage. They knew Nafe was going on the long play, whether they had it on a read. I said there was a lot of reads coming against them. There were yellow pings onto the locations of the players towards the top of the elevator shafts, towards where Nafe was able to get his first kills. And here, G2, where the game sense, whether expectation or information, turned it into the problem child here. 3 apiece. Still both timeouts on the board. Still both bits of attention here. G2, they've not played this map in a very, very long time. As Fabian rightly predicted, they will still have a game here. Now it's the test of Dark Zero, because whatever game G2 have here, they very likely, outside of scrims, have no idea what the holds will be.
No, that's for sure, and you know, this is where it really starts coming on into play. There's a quick push attempt going to be made. Virtue completely blinded, but no one follows up on it. The drone was giving away the intel. Canadian still is around with that drone. There's Candelas not finding anything now.
They're in and they're off to the races here. There's the cover and there's the kill. There's a drop in the hatch in the middle. Do they know there's a rotation round?
Bambazu insane pe
This is a surrounded
ENG.
situation. Alamau, he's holding on. He isn't too far away from a fight with Pamber. He really desperately wants to take it. The smoke canister forces Pamber out of position, and there it is. Beautifully played.
Good trade. Biolo is gone. NGR la Skylight, ținând push-ul.
Very long use of the exit Kairos to get the hatch open.
Only 2 more pellets left in pocket there. I think that will open up the hatch, yeah, nicely. But that means that if anything else is going to be closed, well, you are not going to be opening that, because you only have those 2 pellets left. So that is a concern for potentially later. Think of the mirror windows, for example. Those are going to be in play. You're going to have to worry about them one way or another. And with 1:20 left on the clock, it is, you know, a 4-3 situation in favor of G2, but Dark Zero really haven't done that much yet. They're only now starting to get themselves into the top 4, but Doki's still around, so if there is a drone going to be leading it, removed NGR from the board, and instantly falls back towards the lobby because he knows Nafe is out here.
I mean, there's a player on his left and a player on his right. Where are you going to go, Nafe? You've got to find a fight either way. Benja gets a big scrape onto the Habana, who's just going to try and angle themselves forward and at least put a wall to their back. The break on the hatch. The break on the face.
Și Benja Master își mai găsește încă un kill.
Aparent cei de la G2 s-au activat. Aluzie la la întâmplările din grupe. Când au fost amânate
Toate meciurile G2 pentru cheating.
allegations.
And waited for the right call from his team to put the pressure on. Sad moment though.
Painful NA fans in the crowd who are...
Love it.
G2, great round to come through. And of course, they haven't played Bank recently, but they've definitely played a lot in the last 12 months. Like 14 times or something, but it's all mostly... Is that an Alabama t-shirt?
The Alabama fan base. I don't think I've seen player t-shirts before.
No, I've not seen player t-shirts before either.
Amazing.
I've seen Intero t-shirts.
Yeah, well, he wears those.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to tell that.
4-3. Still, both timeouts. If this round goes to 5, you pretty much guarantee Dark Zero are going to take it, but it's been traded back and forth. G2 threaded 2 rounds before DZ found 3 in a row. With how the first map went, you want to try and keep G2 as far away from map point as possible. Virtue suffered a bit of a scrape. Not entirely sure where that was from. Maybe stopped window side, or Bolo is above skylight, so he could have just caught a wing and a clip on the top of white. Either way, it forces a bit of a rotation here from G2. They're going to sort of keep themselves a bit further away from these immediate engagements and let Dark Zero do a bit of structural work.
But that's the thing, right? They don't need to take these fights right now. There's a little bit of pressure coming down, but nothing directly too threatening onto the side. There's like 2 players or 3 players on Repel even. Oh, what they're going to do from there on? Sure, they can, you know, fire in some Excaros and open up onto Kento, but well, again, like, it limits your movement just...
Mi-am comandat un arm sleeve.
Entered and exited in the building within a second.
Aștept să ajungă. N-am dat foarte mult, dar cred că 4 euro pe el. Cam atâta, dar it's gonna be better. Pentru că îmi hârșie antebrațul sau o bucată din antebraț de mousepad și de dunga de la birou.
Before Nafe's under a bout of pressure he didn't expect. As Benja's surrounded, there it is. Alamau gets Nafe inside stock. Benja's sitting, holding, wasting time and attention.
Și Benja double kill pe Bulo.
He's been revealed this entire time. He's about to have a second swing from Canadian. They're looking for the sliver and they sort of shoot across the bow. There's the execute. But with Donkey getting Canadian, NJR, all that's left of this round, and he started it on those big windows on a fight.
Angel îl găsește pe Doki. NGR double kill.
2 versus 1. 35 de secunde rămase. Dar este foarte, foarte low NGR.
G2, they've headed towards the top floor. Not entirely sure where the kit has gone down, but it's not.
Să facă NGR play-ul vieții lui clutch la 10 HP. L-au zis, nu, și G2 mai încă o rundă.
Entering the building, shut down, struggling with taking down Benja, who finds himself like in ATMs behind the closets. And as we have the timeout right now, I think that's a rightful call, not only due to the scoreline, but also due to how that last round went. Because it felt like they were trying to chase G2, but they were always like 10 steps behind and finding themselves locked off. It was a 1v2 in the end, but that's because NGR managed to punish 2 very aggressive G2 players trying to just end that round as quickly as they could. So, after the last time, you managed to get 5 rounds consecutively through your timeout.
Let's go, G2. Clap, 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 clap.
No, those weren't in there. It's just let's go.
The claps are implied. Look how energized they are. Look how much sort of vibration is passing through them from the crowd into it. You look around the room and you see several Brazilian flags. And although Alamau sort of bathes in a, you know, all press is good press, loves being a little bit of an argument, a little bit of a sticking point, a little bit of a response to the rest of the world saying, no, 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 Brazil's not the best, NA's not the best, EU's not the best, I am the best, and I bring that wherever I go.
Bomb located by
You can tell he is very much at home here. 5-3. Dark Zero, you were great after your timeout last map. In fact, you were so great, you got 5 rounds in a row. Can you replicate some of that success here?
That is the big question. 2 more rounds though, and G2 find themselves moving on in the under bracket as they continue their, well, according to them, hopeful back-to-back lower bracket 6 invitational winning runs. But we're up on the top floor, and this one is the hardest one to actually defend. 48% of the rounds that have been played over the 6 invitational have gone towards the defenders once we were on the top floor. So Dark Zero, you gotta prove you can attack. You gotta prove you can do it on this site, as you've done before. But of course G2 haven't played it yet during SI, so there is a lot of uncertainty in what they'll do, in what they'll bring, and how you need to face it.
The first reveal round onto the back of just trying to catch that loose wing is that idea that's being brought here. Canadian on the Jackal, an operator that, as I said,
Bet.
is 2 stacks.
A devenit meciul ăsta interesant și ar trebui să-mi iau niște snack-uri.
Well, that's going to be something that haunts them later. Well, there's no misplace. They have the hot drone information, but the longer they go without getting anything on the back of it, the more of a nightmare this will become. Do you want to take this as a flat fight? Canadian, no! There's one, there's 2! Fucking believable, Benja!
Benja cu double kill-ul.
What a force he has been this tournament. A return.
Aproape de triple.
S-ar putea să avem un triple kill din partea lui Benja.
Nu, ratează C4. A luat triple kill-ul Benja. Quadra kill-ul.
Aproape quad kill din partea lui Benja.
The teamwork then not in order from Dark Zero. The first of all, the solo fight from Canadian, you needed to just instantly collapse on them together. And now Virtue waiting on the top of the stairs with Alamau as they pop up. It's a clean up. G2 map series points.
And I mean, what a well-earned grin.
This is the point like last round as well.
Think about what was on him.
Match point pentru G2.
Map point și match point. Să vedem pe cei de la Dark Zero plecând acasă. Mult mai repede decât ne așteptam noi.
By DZ, pe ecranul telefonului acelui e fun.
It's an unbelievable round from Benja, and again, like he kind of did this in the last round as well when he was playing in ATM.
Nu cred că DZ mai are ce să facă în momentul ăsta.
Sunt demoralizați.
Da.
Immediately into the I mean, come on. Dark Zero backs against the wall in a room of people chanting for their opponents. Everything ahead of them, 1 round at a time, the distance of 3. It's one of the
a încercat, a ajuns destul de departe.
Oricum, cotele sau clasamentul făcut de fani și de analiști puneau DZ în locul 5 sau 6 la SI anul ăsta, G2 pe locul 1.
G2 have gotten better and better and better. And Dark Zero have that ability, have that capability. But a roster against the tide of Brazil and a
Deci chatul de la Rainbow și am văzut DZ has liking for selling.
Mai știi? Și publicul striga G2 Army.
But even then, they won't find themselves within any success. Benja, again in a crucial position, receiving some vertical pressure. Also someone on the main stairs, Panda. If he manages to shut this first one down, it is game over for Dark Zero.
Every engagement has to be
Și Benja Master cu C4 pentru Bulo. Canadian. Canadian și Doki, cei doi rivali.
ENG iar moare.
Pamba's holding and waiting, but there is only so long, isn't even rewarded. A missed moment as the ship breezes past in the broad daylight. Shined upon here in Sao Paulo. A 4-3 body advantage with a minute left to go.
So much utility in the hands of Dark Zero, but there's nothing they can really do with it. The hard breach gadgets won't help. The fire caught by the Syria laser gate. There's so much to do. There's so little control, and there's not enough time as they're eyeing up to go for a hot drop. Canadian walking in. They're hoping for the best. Will it be enough? That's a big question.
Here it goes, exploding across, but Benja gets his second for the round.
Sure, bro, sure. Spor la antrenamente.
With the LMG Canadian on the back of a long watch smoke. It is a technical 2 versus 2. As Uno's hit the ground, but Alamau, he's hit the roof. He sees the player, and the player's his. Nath, he's EU.
Da, și DZ este eliminat oficial din competiție.
Should we say something? No, I guess no. S-au dus predicțiile noastre. Îi păreasem pe... păreasem pe cei de la Dark Zero.
Niciodată să nu pariez împotriva lui G2.
G2 progress here in Sao Paulo. Commiserations to Dark Zero. I am joined by Alamau. Vamos aplaudir!
Aplausos pra ele, rapaziada. Não era isso que vocês queriam?
Alamau just...
Tá com moral, hein? 360, ó. A arena toda tá com você, ó. Lá, tem pra todo lado. Alemão, senhoras e senhores.
The crowd surround him.
Yeah.
This must be amazing for you. We will talk in English just briefly. Alamau, just come a little bit further forward for me, and then we'll do some, of course, interview questions in your native language. But bit of a love-hate relationship out here. How does it feel to be back in front of your own crowd?
É demais estar aqui com os brasileiros. Tava esperando por esse momento por muito tempo, né? Acho que todo mundo queria ver esse Invitation no Brasil e agora a gente chegou aqui para defender a marreta.
Gonna do it in English?
We were so anxious to play in Brazil with this crowd. The crowd is amazing, and now we have to defend the hammer again.
Just to run it back to map 1, 5-2 down, everything changed, the momentum shift. What was it? What changed within the roster in the team?
No Sky a gente sabia que eles eram muito lertos, né? Então a gente só jogou para execução e eles se perderam todos os rounds. We just waited for the executes because they are so slow and can just win by not doing anything. So that was how we came back on Skyscraper.
Just finally from me, Sonics, W7M, wait for you next. Any preference there?
I want to play W7M, but maybe they won't even win against Sonics, so I don't know. Rapaziada, eu quero pegar os touros para mostrar que no Invitation é outra história.
What was that? Can you repeat that?
Ele tá dizendo que aqui no Invitation é outra história, né? Você tá quase sem voz? Tá emocionalmente diferente jogar aqui?
Não, pior que eu tava meio doente, eu acho, anteontem. Acho que é por isso que a voz tá meio rouca, porque eu nem berrei tanto nesse jogo.
Tá bom. Parabéns, então. Você quer enfrentar os touros. Tem certeza que você quer essa galera contra você. É isso que você quer.
Quero pegar os touros.
Just finally from me, before you go, any message to your English G2 fans watching at home?
Guys, thank you for the support, all the G2 fans. I want to see you guys back in Europe, but here in Brazil. Preciso dizer obrigado a todos os brasileiros aí torcendo por nós. Minha família aí, tá todo mundo ali, ó, minha família, meu pai, minha mãe, minha irmã, minha tia, minhas primas ali, tudo ali. Então, obrigado por tudo, rapaziada. Tamo junto.
Alamal, thank you very much. You can make your way back down, and congratulations once again. Listen.
The entire family's over here.
Yeah? They're all out here watching?
Yeah, watching.
Well, G2, the reigning champions, take a step closer to reclaiming the hammer. Will they go all the way? They've got a lot of hurdles in front of them first. Back to the desk to pick it all apart.
Thank you very much, Ian and Leo. And yes, Alamao has his family here. He's got the eyes of Brazil on him and G2, and the entire world is watching. The world champions move on to the next stage. Congratulations to G2. We're back on the analyst desk to break things down after a map 2. Milos with me are Fresh and Fabian. Gentlemen, I have to say, G2 looked so composed on bank.
You know, first of all, this crowd is like their entire family, right?
Yeah.
The amount of support they got from the crowd, it's just incredible. Like, I've never experienced something like this. Just needed to get out of my system.
I've never seen a crowd support Alamao, then call him names, and then support him again within about 30 seconds.
Give it to the next game. If they play W7M, he is back to being Judas again, that's for sure. But if we go back to the game and we break it down a little bit, G2 again, they show how excellent their attacks can be, the amount of trust they have in each other to allow that to go off the structure and just make these individual decisions and the finding of the gaps, and then just obviously backing that up with all the gun skill in the world. And then when they don't find those gaps, take the first round on basement attack. We said, oh yeah, you can't play split theory too much on bank. What do they go and do? Well, they drop all the hatches and they push side at the same time. They go from everywhere and overwhelm Dark Zero. That was such a good attack, and it just keep the momentum up for all the attacks. And then defenses. I mean, look at the individual gun skill that they have. What can Dark Zero even do against that?
Especially when they understand Dark Zero as well, right? I don't know, I said it in the interview. We have to wait for them and do nothing. We've stopped short on the desk of basically saying that. Dark Zero's attacks were just pathetically slow again, which has been a big problem for them across the year. And G2 reading their opponents so well. Both maps could have been blowaways. Dark Zero obviously did manage to find a few rounds. I did like their adaptations on the defense, bringing the Valkyrie, bringing the Solace, but it wasn't enough. They were never getting any attacks.
Cohesion, trust, and confidence is what we get for G2 to be victorious. Reminder for everybody, this is the squad with Uno on it that won the Invitational last year in Montreal. So there's a lot of pressure on them, but it looked like they handled all of it, and they're all showing up on the board, Fabian.
You know, there's something with their mentals that they have really broken through when it comes to events.
Așa,
Again,
back.
we mentioned before the game,
Benja Master a ieșit MVP.
Unfortunately, Dark Zero este eliminată din turneu.
Unfortunately pentru tine. I'm okay. I am a G2 fan.
Și G2 fan. Mă rog, țin cu toată lumea. Ador meciurile astea, dar pentru sufletul meu mic că Diolo a fost eliminat din turneu.
It looks like he's just settled into the system now, picking up the kills as part of the system, and that seems to be where he excels.
You know, you say you're not that guy. You're not that guy. The thing with G2 is everyone is that guy. Like, everyone can just do whatever they want. They run around the server and then they decide, yeah, I'm just gonna kill everybody. It's my day today.
Well, here's a highlight from it. Our intel play of the game. Let's play play of the game.
And who else would it be? Of course, it is going to be Doki. Now, he picks up 4 kills inside this round. Every single one of them as important as the other. This shot, by the way, what a beautiful spot. But this in the 3 versus 2, managing to push in and get into sight to facilitate the kill onto the Echo. We've seen Echo clutches so many times in that round. And then just the understanding that the flank might come in from Nate punishes it. We were saying how important it might have been for G2 to get a free attack split. Ultimately, it wouldn't be because Dark Zero couldn't attack, but at the time, it was so important that they got that and got over the board, and Doki with a huge 4K in that round facilitated.
But let's not put all of the Dark Zero attacks on them, because G2 as well, they played solid defense. The team play that they had in combination with, again, opportunistic decision making where they all come up. Like, look at the last round. Carl sneaks up on second floor in a 2-on-2 and just denies the plant. What can Dark Zero do against that when they seem to be so slow and maybe not reacting as well to what G2 are doing, because G2 were smart in every decision.
Well, issues on the day, but let's not forget that Dark Zero making it here to the stage cements them as one of the best teams in the world, and nobody on this planet can take that away from them. It's just that today, and in this adaptation, G2 was the better team, and that's the beauty of competition. They will still walk out of this pretty happy, I would say, despite the loss. So, gentlemen, final thing before we toss the break. How you feeling?
I'm just happy to have seen such a first game that is just this incredible. I'm so happy.
Great quality game, great crowd, and we've got the Brazilian teams to come.
All right, so we still have some more for you here on the stage live in Sao Paulo. We'll take a quick break, a bit to calm our hearts and nerves down. We'll see you in a bit.
Ne strângem la niște ranked?
În jumătate de oră. Să fie 7 fix. La 7 fix mă duc să mă spăl pe cap. Mai durează vreo 15 minute. Și ulterior da.
Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. A phone in affection, I summon and dub it.
Adică am vrut să mă apropie de 4 ore de stream pentru comunitate. Să-și ia primul pack. Mă rog, să vă luați primul pack. My dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune, I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe, and 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me, like you wasn't pushing the kids to the side? I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Dark Zero versus SSG football.
None of them, right? Rampy. Oh, he did win MVP.
Really bad at it.
I got this.
Which team has așa Fnatic, cred că era. Așa zici și băieți. Zici anything?
It is the Team Empire versus G2 Esports.
Empire and G2.
Nip versus... No, era Evil Genius. What?
Okay, what now? For England. Like an American. USA. USA.
Probably Mira.
Aici eram sigur.
Which team achieved the highest number of consecutive victories in history?
Liquid.
Liquid? Nu era Penta.
Nu Liquid.
Penta.
Penta era.
Penta știam că e.
That's too big, gave it time That's good. Oh, there's a bit wide left.
Oh yes.
Uite că Sonic ajunge în finală. În finală, în finalele competiției.
Cred că Faceclan o să fie în finală. Ultimul minut până la începerea meciului Sonic vs W7M. Banii mei pe W7M. Zi cât zi cu Sonics, tu.
Welcome back to the Ginásio do Ibirapuera here in the beautiful, vibrant, and of course very loud city of Sao Paulo. This is the Rainbow Six Invitational 2024. My name's Ian Chambers and this is our amazing Brazilian stage host, Leah. We are off to a good start.
Yeah, it's amazing being here. I'm so glad. Galera, que jogaço que a gente acabou de acompanhar. O alemão segue vivo, junto com a G2. Na sequência, tem Sonics e W7M. Será que a gente vai ter um brasileiro avançando, enfrentando o alemão? Será que a gente vai ter uma final brasileira? Isso a gente vai descobrir já já, mas tem muita coisa pra rolar aqui no Six Invitational. Aí.
This is what it's all about. And our reigning champions, G2, have taken a huge step towards potentially clutching it again. Commiserations to Dark Zero, they will be back. But for now, it is time to celebrate another member of our incredible Rainbow Six community.
Exatamente, então vamos respirar, já já a gente vai com o próximo jogo, porque é hora de homenagear mais um membro importante da nossa comunidade de Rainbow Six Siege.
It's time for our Community Commendation Award, and this recipient is an artist whose vision is truly magnificent.
All of my art has this moving component. Never have a still image. It's like a freeze frame moment where you pause and then you have all the action right in front of you. I never really studied art, so everything I know is self-taught by YouTube and books that I found and also other art peers. And I never really dreamed that something like this would happen because I'm just a hobbyist by heart and never planned to make money with my art, but I had so many cool experiences already. I always try to be better at everything that I do, and I think the challenge keeps the motivation going, otherwise I wouldn't do it.
My husband is a perfectionist, I would say. He is never satisfied with the same level, so to say. So he wants to improve with every illustration. If there is something he doesn't know yet,
Mă, insent că arată povești din Stafful Siege sau din...
teach himself that skill.
Nu știu, arată povești ale jucătorilor, arată... Când a început prezentarea, a arătat povestea coachului de la Wolves, care este o femeie.
Dar chiar Wolves ce a făcut? Cum e?
Hai să vedem unde era oaia de la Wolves. Wolves a fost eliminată de Sonics în play-off-uri.
It was a cool thing, it was a cool opportunity, and I said, of course. Anime has a big influence on me. I still love to watch anime. And translating that style into characters that we enjoy in the game in Rainbow Six Siege is something that I always try. Sometimes it's harder because characters look so fancy realistically, and then putting them into manga and anime art is a challenge, but it's a fun challenge, and I really enjoy that about making art for Siege. If you go through Vienna with an open eye, you can find art everywhere, and that's also a very inspirational factor for my own art. You have the statues there that are very lifelike. They feel alive even though they're out of marble or stone or whatever. And for my own art, it's very important to me to have the same kind of sensation that I feel when I look at the art in Vienna. When I'm in a game, there is so much happening, and in my drawings, I kind of freeze frame those things because I want to have it in action. I want to have the mood, I want to have the flair, and then I think, what is Siege? Siege is the action of the moment, this situation where you find yourself in and you're like, will I make it out of this? Usually you're shouting into the microphone, I need help, or they are on me, or they are coming. It's very important to have this kind of connection with the game to keep it relevant, and a cool thing to experience is when
domnul Codrin, hai că te-am lăsat. M-a invitat domnul Crow la niște meciuri.
Oh, I know that spot.
Ne auzim.
I just recognize this whole
Ciao, ciao.
situation. So all of these things going on, they come into my pictures, and I think they make my pictures come alive. After I drew so much for Rainbow Six Siege, I was lucky enough to actually design a skin for my favorite operator, which is Hibana. I still remember it very clearly. I was on my way home. I looked at my phone and I was asked, hey, how about you draw something for us? It would be a skin. And it was like the peak of everything I was ever hoping for.
Insane. Insane băiatul ăsta.
Excitement I had when I saw the 3D art for the very first time. It was unbelievable. I felt so rewarded and so happy because I imagined it in 2D and I thought it could look cool, but I did not expect it to be that cool. So I thought, okay, that was the peak of my experience with Ubisoft, designing my own skin. But after some time, Ubisoft contacted me again and said, hey, can we have a little chat? I didn't know what to expect. So Ubisoft asked me to join 3 other amazing artists to work on an exciting project, and it was to draw the Siege Invitational promo artworks. It was my chance, this was the moment to leave a mark in a game that I spent so much time with, that I so dearly enjoy, and it's something as a hobby artist I never thought would happen. I think my hobby really changed my life. I never thought I would experience so much cool stuff with just drawing art, just doing what I enjoy, but here we are. I'm curious to know where we'll be in the future, and I can't wait to see where all of this is going.
I mean, e insane faptul că tipul ăsta a făcut skin-ul care a fost dat pe Prime și gen e insane cât de talentat e Fragment. Cred că l-am și pe Instagram pe Fragment. Cred că l-am pe Insta. Da, l-am pe Insta, l-am pe aia, are Instagram-ul I am Fragment. E insane.
It looks good in your hands, Fragment. I'm going to say that first. Before we discuss anything, talk us through the fit.
Yeah, it's like I can wear my own design. It's incredible, and be here. Shit, I don't know. I'm in lost for words. Yeah, this is like the headgear that I designed for my favorite operator, Hibana. I hope there are many fans here who love Hibana. Yes?
Vocês gostam da Hibana, galera?
I'm liking the crowd work. I'm liking the crowd work, Fragment. When Ubisoft first reached out to you to be part of the game and to do some work for them, did you ever imagine standing on a 6 invitational stage in front of a crowd here in Brazil?
It's completely unreal. Never dreamed about that, but here we are. Here we are! Yeah!
Cara, ele nunca imaginou que ia estar aqui, afinal de contas começou como um hobby e ele desenhou a skin da Hibana e o cara é um artista, fez muita coisa pro Six Invitational, tá muito emocionado por estar aqui.
I know that you take a lot of inspiration for your art in Vienna, right? What does it mean to you now to know that there'll be people watching this and people that you have no idea even exist that are influenced by your work?
I mean, that's why I started to draw. There are so many inspiring people, and being one of them now to inspire other people. If I can do it, they can. No, you can do it too.
É isso, ele tá inspirando muita gente e diz que vocês aí também podem inspirar outras pessoas jogando, curtindo, levando à frente a paixão de vocês.
As an artist, you've achieved, hey there, love that. As an artist, you've achieved so much already, Fragment. What do you set your sights on next? Because I imagine that everything that has come your way so far has been so unexpected. You never know what's around the corner, right?
Yeah, I'll just continue dreaming and then see whatever comes. You never know. I never knew that this would coming. So yeah, just dream big, continue what I do, and we'll see.
É isso, é continuar sonhando, fazendo, ver o que acontece, é mais ou menos o que a
time
vai tentar fazer hoje, continuar sonhando.
Wow, tipul face niște artwork-uri atât de mișto, e și pasionat de cosplay. Dar a făcut tot tonul de animații pentru R6, a făcut badge-uri, patch-uri, a făcut un logo cu Caveira pentru SI 2024, pe care ulterior l-a transformat într-un patch pe care poți să-l pui pe haine.
Thank you very much, Ian and Leo. Congratulations to Fragment and so many people that will be commended.
Tipul lucrează pentru Ubisoft pe divizia Rainbow Six și For Honor, iar pentru EA la divizia de Apex Legends, animații și skin-uri sau așa mai departe. Huge.
Sonics, the last standing team from the NA region. Gentlemen, we're hyping it up, but before we talk about these teams, here's them and what they have to say.
Facing Sonics in the first match here in Ibirapuera is going to be a great match for the public.
To play W7M, you know, it's going to be a challenge. You know, they're the best team in the world right now. The mindset is just to be confident. The only way we lose is if that we beat ourselves. You know, we just come out with confidence and we can beat anybody in the world.
We have some things prepared against them, but I think our main goal right now is to improve our mistakes because we're doing a lot of them. And if we just play our game, I think it's going to be a good game for us. Hey Sonics, we are coming for you. And Emmy, you're going to choke in front of our home crowd.
Herds, you're really not that good, might be overrated, and we're coming.
And there it is, our two teams, Sonics and W7M. They'll be playing against the spot, or 2-4 to get a spot versus G2. That is a hell of a game to come up. I know a lot of people are looking forward to W7M versus G2, but Sonics, we labeled them as the dark horse of this tournament. Fresh, does that still stand?
Yeah, I think it does actually. I think, you know, when you look at people's expectations for Sonics into this tournament, it maybe wasn't high because of the way that Atlanta went. But they've changed their roster, they've brought in Ambi. That Ambi Citizen bromance seems to be working really well for them.
Now, how does W7M and Sonics face up and match up?
So the matchup in itself, I think the teams are very evenly matched. I do think that W7M have a slight edge just because of recent performances that they've had at events, in combination with, I think that Sonics are to a certain extent still finding themselves. They are a new team, honeymoon period is still around, and they're feeling really good. I think that the teams are very evenly matched. The statistics said Sonics are slightly ahead, but Sonics has had a little bit easier matchup so far, I think.
Well, let's talk about Sonics since you're mentioning them and we're talking about them in detail. There's their roster for those that do not know this NA giant of a squad. Fresh, how are they looking going into this game?
Yeah, so obviously they ran all the way through their groups, then they ended up in the lower bracket and have had to work their way through the lower bracket. And as I said, maybe expectations for them coming into this event was that's maybe where they should be.
Cred că ăsta e primul match cu cei de la Sonics pe care îl comentăm sau la care ne uităm. Adică, I kinda get it, dar, nu știu, n-am văzut niciun match până acum de la Sonics, n-am văzut cum evolua, n-am văzut absolut nimic din partea celor de la Sonics pe toată perioada SI-ului. Oricum eram foarte focusați pe scena A, unde erau echipele mai mari și cred că ne-am uitat la 2 sau 3 meciuri pe scena B. Am văzut meciul cu Face Clan și chiar am mai văzut încă un meci din scena B. În rest, noi ne-am uitat doar pe scena A. Ceea ce mi se pare foarte interesant e că avem pe Sonics in the finals și e insane pentru că nu am mai văzut pe ei să dea performa atât de bine sau să aibă performanțe atât de mari de foarte mult timp.
Sonics have actually pulled it all together. W7M Esports, the darlings of Brazil and second-rated team as of last invitational, Fabian.
Yeah, they've struggled a little bit during this event, but now that we come onto the main stage, I mean, to a certain extent, this is where it begins for W7M.
Absolutely.
You guys heard, and I think people at home, they heard how the crowd just went absolutely wild when W7M went in. I was expecting that for FaZe. We got it for W7M. They are the new darling, and it's clear-cut that they are. Every single player in their team is number one or number 2 in the world at their position. There's no doubt about it. They've struggled a little bit during this event, but I think they'll pull it back here.
Yeah, and just to pick up on that, we saw it in the map graphic there, in the graphic.
I mean, the good part sau partea bună este că am avut o suport din partea celor de la Ubisoft și de la Blast pentru a avea o producție atât de bună. Faptul că eu sunt alături de voi acum și I'm actually streaming almost every day sau aproape în fiecare zi când a fost SI-ul și am încercat să dau cât de mult content se poate alături de cei de la SI, e something else pentru mine. Că am avut commitment-ul să am găsit cumva interesul ăla de a face stream pentru SI. Pentru mine înseamnă foarte mult că am ajuns aici, am ajuns în punctul ăsta.
And that's just so nice to see.
And an engaged citizen is an unreal citizen. Moving through to KZ though, I think, look at that.
I'm glad I had all the support from Bob, from all the Blast people, Ubisoft people, insane. Insane. Oamenii ăștia au fost acolo când am avut noi nevoie de ei. Toate problemele mici care s-au întâmplat, să spunem așa, pe toată durata essayului au fost rezolvate cu ajutorul lor. Adică, dude, fără ei noi nu aveam dropuri, fără ei nu aveam absolut nimic. They were here to help us. This is something else, chat.
Much more than I've ever seen before.
I'm seeing operators on both teams that the other team is going to want off the board.
Yep.
I'm seeing Fenrir for Sonics that W7M are going to want off the board, and now Sonizame for W7M that Sonics will want off the board because of how these two teams play.
E insane cât de multă muncă s-a depus în spatele a tot ce vedeți voi din partea noastră care facem cu streaming. I mean, we had such a huge support from Blast and Ubisoft. Holy shit. Voi nu vă dați seama că gen 80% din ce vedeți pe stream, tranziții, scene pe care și eu le am sau le au și alții, sunt din partea lor. Am primit o tonă de ajutor, am primit o tonă de lucruri care ne-au ajutat să dăm improve la calitatea streamului. Adică, I'm not a big streamer, I'm not gonna be a big streamer in this country, pentru că nu aleg să fac conținutul care funcționează în ghilimele, just chatting și circ, dar pentru ceea ce fac, cred că am ajuns departe. I think we hit a milestone. Am avut turneu KGB, unde am avut 22 de oameni, avem 5 oameni ocazional, avem... It's not about how many people we have, e commitmentul pe care eu îl am față de voi, față de organizația pentru care fac parte.
Confidence is absolutely key. That's where it is. They need to come out. I think the W7M will go away with Clubhouse. Bank is where I'm looking for the real competition.
I agree. I really hope and I actually think this will go 3 maps.
All right, Fabian Fresh, thank you very much. We are all set for a matchup. We'll take a quick break, and then it's time for Dark Zero. Well, Dark Zero out. What are we talking about? It's W7M going up against Sonics.
Salve rapaziada, eu sou o Herd, sou
Everything is huge chat.
capitão da line também.
Herds just misses one, flicks onto Virtue, shotgun in hand, and right comes out. Herds is in his head.
Sou um cara que ajuda bastante nas táticas, junto com o meu coach, que é o Igor. O Abreu também, que é meu analista, e o Pox, Felipe Pox.
Eu apreciez fiecare larg, fiecare suport în parte că intrați pe stream și gen, efectiv doar intrați pe stream și lăsați larg sau intrați pentru 5 minute și that means a lot for me. Și nu știu, am dat commitment, chiar am dat commitment și o să avem mai multe streamuri, o să avem stream și cu Skull and Bones, o să avem final la mâine, o să avem reveal panel, o să avem drop-uri la Skull and Bones. Am dat 2 kill-uri de la Skull and Bones pentru comunitate. We did a lot of things. Și nu a fost vorba niciodată de succes, de how you wanna call it. It's just a dream that I'm having, going pro and actually create content.
Mas a gente quer a marreta, a gente vai em busca dela, porque não tá bom, a gente quer mais. A gente é um time que trabalha muito e eu acho que isso é posto em prática nos campeonatos e tem dado resultado. E bom, é isso. Isso é a W7M.
Pam 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 pararam. I mean, breach, breach, breach. Let's go. Salut, drug. With all the hype. Welcome in, my boy. Te-ai apucat de Siege? Ce te-a făcut să te apuci de Siege? E întrebarea foarte bună. PvE.
Thanks to each and every one of you who
Okay.
supports, follows, and cheers us on.
みんなの応援がとても力になっていて、レインボーシックスシージコミュニティにとても感謝しています。
Ce te-a îndreptat spre Siege? Să care a fost, nu știu, kilometru.
ยังไม่หยุดหย่อนของคุณกระตุ้นให้เราทำดีที่สุดในทุกนัด
Care a fost momentul în care ai zis că vrei să te apuci de el? Că bănesc că exista ceva, un kick acolo care au zis play it.
И не забудьте посмотреть это прекрасное и невероятное событие вместе с нами.
항상 레인보우 식스 시즈를 응원해주셔서 감사합니다. 여러분들의 응원이 레인보우 식스 시즈를 세계 최고의 게임으로 만들 수 있습니다.
Juntos somos a melhor comunidade do mundo.
Muito obrigado, galera.
Thank you for the support.
شكرا على دعمكم. ありがとうございます.
Thank you.
Спасибо огромное.
Muito obrigado, comunidade.
Merci beaucoup.
Helldivers, n-ai jucat? N-ai jucat Helldivers, adică... Nu știu, Helldivers nu mi se pare că e worth, dar... Who am I to judge? Mă joc aceleași 3 jocuri de 4 ani de zile încoace. ANAF? Dar ce... Și am Skull and Bones. Am avut și 2 cure giveaway pentru comunitate la Skull and Bones. ANAF. Dar ce cuvinte TOS pentru ANAF? Eram top 17.000 în Skull and Bones. Da, mâncați-ai sufletul tău. Câți bani îți cerea de la ANAF? Câte 300 de milioane vor? Și acum să zici 300 de milioane. Că aia contează. Is Kingpin 12, am nava de rank 10 și am fost top 17.000 în clasament la Imperiu. Luni eram top 17.000 în clasamentul de Imperiu. Păi, m-am jucat din ultimul beta plus Early Access, că noi am avut Early Access la joc. Zi de zi, dar cred că am avut 70 de ore de Skull and Bones în 4 zile. Pe în ziua în care am primit full acces la joc, adică cu beta, cu Early Access, m-am jucat de la 8 sau 9 seara până la 6 dimineața Skull and Bones. În ziua 2 aveam bombardierul, aveam nava aia, bombardul, în general a fost ziua 2. Și săptămâna trecută, duminică sau sâmbătă, vineri, săptămâna trecută, vineri sau sâmbătă, am făcut
Invitational 2024.
Brigantinul ăla. Și l-am făcut de level 11.
mundo venceu os dois últimos majors diante da Sonics, que quer quebrar essa sequência invencível dos touros.
If you thought it was loud in here already, you are not ready for how loud it is about to get. Our next series is a big one. I want to find out.
Tai că li s-a blocat aici-o. Deci, Brigantinul îl faci super repede de level 11. Noi am făcut eventuri de PvP, am făcut eventuri de PvE, am făcut main story. Gen, noi jucăm 3 oameni și am farmat super mult împreună. Adică, în prima zi aveam nava la level 4 sau 5. Bine, noi și farmăm, gen, nu știu că farmez super multe chestii. Când mă joc, îmi colectez, intru, îmi fac coinurile, gen îmi dau colect la coinuri. Intru în joc, îmi colectez toate coinurile, gen piece of 8-uri. Și ulterior mă duc să farmez și farmez jumătate de hartă. Fac outpost-uri. Vrei să joci cu noi, Druc? Cred că în seara asta o să jucăm Skull and Bones. Îți scriu după 9 seara?
With a crowd that don't want you to win, this is a lot for you to take on.
I mean, yeah, and I'm ready for it. No, they're booing, but it'll be very quiet. It'll be very quiet today.
É o jogador mais jovem do Six Invitational, mas ele tem personalidade, hein? Diz que não tem problema, que vai aguentar. E aí a pressão...
Și ideea în felul următor, că tu ai Kingpin chest-ul. După ce faci Kingpin, la fiecare level up de Kingpin îți dă un chest pe care îl deschizi, care îți dă reward-uri. Și alea poți să-ți pice cea mai bună armură din joc, poți să-ți pice arme de tier mare, foarte multe blueprint-uri sau arme le deblochezi cu Piece of 8 și care costă câteva mii de bucăți de Piece of 8. Sau la World Event-uri, dacă nu faci PvP event, faci PvE eventuri și la alea poți să-ți pice. Și gen, noi ți-am din asta părere, ne-am uitat ce pică, ce nu pică, ne-am uitat care e faza și am zis, asta facem, perfect.
One thing that is amazing before I let you sit down, Ambi, I was so impressed with you coming into this and now I'm even more impressed.
Și scomicul ăsta, ori facem main story, ori farmăm. Efectiv, mergem și ne uităm, bă, ce avem nevoie? Păi avem nevoie de resursele. Hai să farmăm. Și farmăm, ori batem nave de level 10, ori facem quest-uri pentru reputație. Mă rog, quest-urile la verzi, tu n-ai acces încă la ele, numai când faci Kingpin o să ai acces.
With the crowd, all right?
Yeah, oh, I love it.
So let's just ask them again.
Okay.
Who do they want to win?
Vamos tentar de novo, galera. Quem vocês acham que vence essa partida? Ian. Vai.
Sonics!
Îi huide lumea pe aia de la Sonics.
Os gringos agora, ó, estão bem aqui, ó, eles estão sem fone ainda. Será que dá? W7M!
Bă, dacă vrei o să-ți arăt o formă de a face progres mult mai repede.
I'm trying. This is something that Brazil has waited a very long time for. 5 years in the making, and the fans here are so incredibly passionate that it is finally back in Brazil, right?
Exactly. Desde a Pro League que a gente teve no Rio de Janeiro, a gente não conseguiu sair com o título. Mas a gente tá ganhando tudo. E vai ser muito especial se a gente conseguir sair com o título.
El nu te știu cu aproape nimic. Main story s-au format de avamposturi. Aia tu știu foarte bun.
Vamos empurrar. A partir de agora é Brasil no servidor.
Sonics versus W7M is right now.
Făceam side quest-uri, încercam să explorăm toată harta.
There are two signs in the crowd that you could see from home. This is Brazil, and welcome to hell. The two-time major champions back-to-back find their way home, going up against North America's final hope in Sonics. Firstly, can I just say, Ambi up for the interview, the 18-year-old, his first SI, first time on the main stage. What a great job, and already enemy number one.
This Brazilian crowd is taking no prisoners. They have waited over 5 years to watch a Brazilian team in the flesh at an S-tier tournament for the Sonics. It's now the last hope for North America. An American dream. Can they turn it into a reality, or can W7M continue this juggernaut run? Not just in this bracket, but arguably over the last 12 months. Winners of Copenhagen, winners of Atlanta, now looking to be the winners in their own home country at 6 Invitational. But it requires a mighty effort, a lower bracket run that is not going to have any guarantees. We will be heading to Clubhouse, first picked by W7M, and boy, will they need to make a stand and a statement early. Do not give Sonics any hope in this hell environment. Well, we had the interview with Ambi. Huge storyline for the Sonics, turning 18 only 2 weeks ago, and talk about a trial by fire. He's had
Chat, o să dăm un raid la un co-streamer din SI 2024 și ne vedem mâine cu marea finală. Hope for the best. E o tipă super mișto, e nouă în scena de Siege și nouă în scena de casting. Hope you're gonna enjoy it. Mulțumesc tuturor pentru atenție, am vrut să facem 4 ore pentru vă și voi primul pachet, dar eu să continui să mă uit la SI. Chat, v-am pupat, ne vedem mâine cu finala, cu toată finala mare. Dragule, ne vedem după 9, whatever, la Skull and Bones. See you guys, tschüss!
They've had a phenomenal tournament so far. Will they be able to do it once again? Nade